Greetings. I, Riya Rawat, researcher at IMPRI, Impact and Policy Research Institute, Prabhav एवं नीति अनुसंधान संस्थान नई दिल्ली, extend my warmest welcome to you all at IMPRI Web Policy Learning. Today marks the second day of the Young Women Leaders in Public Policy Fellowship, Cohort 2.0, with the theme Getting Foothold in Politics, Governance, and Gainful Employment, a Gender Lens. This is an online national winter school program, a 4-month immersive introductory leadership certificate training fellowship program spanning from January to April 2025. The program is organized by IMPRI, Gender Impact Studies Center. The chair of this program is Professor Vibhuti Patel ji, visiting distinguished professor at IMPRI and a renowned advocate for gender equality and women's empowerment, while the co-chair is Professor M. Indira ji, former professor of economics at the Department of Studies in Economics and Cooperation, University of Mysore. Today, we will delve into the pivotal theme of women in PRIs after the 73rd and 74th Amendments in the Constitution of India from 1994 to 2024. This subject is crucial for understanding the transformative role of women in governance and local self government as envisioned by these landmark constitutional amendments. It also sheds light on the progress, challenges, and opportunities that have emerged over 3 decades of their implementation. We are privileged to have an esteemed expert with us today, Professor Bidyut Mohanty ji, HOD Women's Studies Institute of Social Sciences, New Delhi, and Professor Vibhuti Patel ji guiding today's session. The panel of conveners of this program comprises Dr. Simi Mehta ji, Dr. Arjun Kumar ji, Professor Gumari Sridevi ji, and Advocate Dr. Shalu Nigam ji. Before we begin, here are few housekeeping announcements. Please join the meeting on time. There will be a Q&A session after each presentation. Share your questions on the Q&A box. The questions must not be posted as an anonymous attendee and ensure that your questions are precise. Refrain from making general comments in the questions to save time. Now, without further ado, let us start our program. I would like to invite our chair, Professor Vibhuti Patel ji, to deliver the opening remarks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Thank you, Ms. Riya Rawat, for introducing the course, and I welcome our esteemed resource persons, my co-chair, Professor M. Indira, and Professor Bidyut Mohanty, today's expert, and the renowned academician who has dedicated 40 years of valuable contribution she has made in the studying and interacting with the women elected representatives in the Panchayati Raj institution. She has done both analytical, rigorous work and also theorization. Now, and I also welcome the esteemed participants. First of all, I would also like to thank the IMPRI team, Dr. Arjun Kumar, Dr. Simi Mehta, and the coordinators, Ms. Priyanka Negi, Vaishali Singh, Preet Rath, Ritvika Malik, and Ashtaba Jadeja, and also today's moderator. We began the first day with introduction of the thematic areas and the conceptual framework within which we have seen these three interconnected themes, and our keynote address, which was given by Comrade Annie Raja, that was very, very important. It electrified the whole participants in terms of their responses. She told the inspiring stories as well as hurdles faced by women elected representatives in the Panchayati Raj institution. She also gave a whole trajectory of how women's reservation bill was introduced right from, say, for nearly 38 years, it took right from 1994. And finally, in 2017, September, we got this act, that too with the caveat that it will be implemented maybe in 2029. Her speech charged the fellows to ask questions and share their own experiences. And the intense discussion was enriched by interventions of Professor Bidyut Mohanty and Comrade Amarjit Kaur on demanding role of media or the hurdles faced by women in electoral politics, success stories of women in governance, enterprise development, how to change the mindset of community and the print and the mainstream media contribution of Asha workers, Anganwadi workers, and why they are still not accepted as a employee of the government, a role of women in Panchayati Raj institutions during the nationwide pandemic, and the whole experience was so mind-blowing and thought-provoking. And in the last segment of the day one, we also had a self-introduction and sharing by the fellows about their professional backgrounds and their expectations from this fellowship. And we concluded with an understanding that nuances of several issues concerning overarching theme will be that need to be probed further. The participants also are going to complete and submit their either a chapters or any other form of doing their taking out the research findings in terms of whether it essay or whether it as a poster or PPT presentations. So this enriching discussion took place because of the very well-informed and sharp questions, as well as the sharing by the fellows who explained their real-life examples of their engagements in several social movements about process of assertion of rights, agency, empowerment from below, the testimonies of farmers' movement, or the changes in the laws and policies and their limitations in terms of implementation, and how the laterally so many citizens who have spoken out for assertion of their rights and fight against the patriarchal mindset. I think that was a very important, interactive, engaging, participatory manner in which we had the discussion. And today we have Professor Bidyut Mohanty, who will go into the much more details and the various aspects of women in Panchayati Raj institution. Over to IMPRI.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are honored to welcome Dr. Bidyut Mohanty ji, who will deliver the session on women in Panchayati Raj institutions. She will provide valuable insights into the evolution, challenges, and opportunities of women's participation in local self-governance under the framework of Panchayati Raj system. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. I must thank IMPRI, also Vibhuti ji, who has spoken many kind words which I don't deserve. So
We
now
have
let us
learned
go
from you all your perspective building, which you have done in various conferences, seminars, and workshops.
Thank
Your
you.
writings, definitely.
Thank you. So let us go to the PPT and then I will just explain. Yeah. Now, so I will go slow. See, the title I have given, Bursting the Bubble of Traditional Leadership. Women's Leadership in Grassroots Politics of India. You must be wondering, how come the traditional leadership burst? But I wanted to provoke my listeners to think how the women representatives in panchayats have burst. You know, they have really challenged, I must say. Here I have written we because it used to be so, but it is actually, I argue that the elected women representatives in panchayats normally push for public policies that are gender friendly, beneficial to marginalized sections, and protect the environment. That is very important, creating possibilities of changes in power structure. All these public policies undertaken by the panchayat women leaders, those can be participatory, holistic, inclusive in nature to provide village residents a life of dignity, equality. Those policies are always bottom up. This is very important. It is not coming from the top, it's bottom up. So let's go to the next. Yeah, this is the meeting of a panchayat. You can see all the women sitting, only one or two men are sitting here. It is, it's the meeting of panchayat in Maharashtra. Okay, just to give you a glimpse, those who haven't seen how panchayats meet. I have visited many such panchayats and deliberated with them. Let's go to the next one. Now, what is empowerment? Vibhuti has done a lot of work on empowerment, but in relation to panchayat, I would say, according to World Summit for Social Development, Copenhagen in 1995, empowerment is strengthening the capacity of women having education, employment, and assets, taking them as principal source of development, ensuring their participation in formulation, implementation, and evaluation of policy decisions. Otherwise, the societal structure will not be egalitarian. Let us go. What is not empowerment? Empowerment is not merely formal institutional arrangements reserving 33%. I mean, they always say not less than 33% seats in the panchayats for women, which is only a preliminary, though necessary measure for transforming the patriarchal power structure in, in the society. We need redistributive measures ensuring basic rights such as access to productive assets, including land, health, education, healthcare, and gainful employment, in addition to the representation in decision-making bodies. This was, I have taken an essay from Professor Mohanty. The real challenge. Next one. How to orient representation and participation of women towards transformation of the patriarchal power structure that is multiple relationship of interconnected dominations in terms of caste, caste, gender, ethnicity, religion, region, and other categories. No doubt, representation is an important achievement, but we aim at power, at power structure to change. Now, some basic things about panchayats before we come to the critical issues. Let us see what are the what was the need. Let's go to the next one. What was the need for women's representation in local government? The idea of women's representation in local government, a UN initiative, I think Vibhuti would know, everybody would know that this was, UN asked all the country government to write a report on the status of women. That was 1974. And Indian government wrote the Towards Equality. A report on the status of women in India revealed dismal conditions of women in economic, social, and political sphere. Only a minority of, but at that time, even though it was very, they were very, they were backward in all the conditions. Only a minority of opinion favored reservation. They did not want to have reservation because the women themselves, but next time I'll come, even the report did not recommend the reservation. But what happened later on? 70. So then we come to this next one, please. Go to next one. Yeah, 73rd, 74th amendment, constitution amendments. Later on, political leadership and women's movement strongly advocated the women's reservation. 73rd Constitution Amendment Act for Panchayats, and 74th for urban government in 1993, reserving not less than 1/3 of the seats for women in local government, besides other statutory provisions. What was the objective? Objective was to bring women into public sphere so that their social and economic conditions would improve. Women, what do they focus on? Women in panchayats, I am talking about. They focus on basic livelihood issues. Next one, please. Women's role in society as homemaker, mothers, caregivers, and workers has kept their focus on the livelihood issues. They bring those concerns to the public sphere and decision making in village and city councils. What are those? Basic services, of course, safe drinking water, toilet with provision of water, nutritious food for children, ensuring all children, especially girls going to school, clean environment, shelter, monitoring the midday meal, PDS, of course, public distribution system, ensuring pregnant women to go to hospital, ensuring the presence of girls, children in school, and disabled to get their pensions and other facilities. The next one, please. Women also focus on the marginalized. For people belonging to all castes and classes, especially the poor, Dalits, Adivasis, disabled, I have already talked, transgender, women, old and children, some women pursuing these issues forcefully emerge as leaders, opens up channels of upward mobility in politics and movement, since they fulfill the basic needs of the villagers. They have confidence regarding their capacity, means the villagers have confidence regarding their capacity. And some of the basic thing, just I'll come to next one, the panchayats. Let us define the panchayat. God, just a minute. Yeah. Oh, next one, please. Yeah. Interestingly, there are many panchayats, such as Khap Panchayat, Mahapanchayat, Caste Panchayat, and you know about Panch Parameswar, which is written by Premchand. But we are talking about real Gram Panchayat at the village level, local self-government. An institution, it's an institution of rural self-government as defined by the Constitution, Article 243B in Constitution, with 3 tiers: village, block, and district. 3 tiers, governed by law by each state. Panchayat members are chosen by direct election every 5 years, conducted by the state election. It's not by the that General Election Commission. Reservation for women, ST, SC, and in some cases OBC. So in all these categories, there is a district planning committee, very important committee. What does it do? It prepares plans, budgets, are collating proposals from below, Gram Sabha upwards. Then Gram Sabha, then it goes to Panchayat. The Panchayat discusses. All the Panchayats have their own, but issues. They collect together. Then it goes to block, then to district. Then the district planning committee collects and sends it to the state, so that each Panchayat gets their share of financial assistance. So this is the system. What are the activities of panchayats? there are 29 subjects as listed in the 11th schedule of the Constitution. And so they reflect many MDGs and SDGs. MDG, of course, everybody knows, Millennium Development Goals, and SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Everybody is acquainted with those. Some of them are development of agriculture, minor irrigation, family welfare, collection of minor forest produce, public distribution system, processing of minor forest produce, providing safe drinking water, sanitation, including the protection of environment. Underline environment, how Panchayat is looking after the environment, particularly the women. Now, I will come to this is the meeting of Gram Sabha. Why I have given this picture, I will talk about the Gram Sabha. That's why it is there. It is the centrality of Gram Sabha in Panchayat. What is Gram Sabha? Gram Sabha consists of all adult members of the Panchayat, and it is a forum of direct democracy with citizens' equal participation, ensuring transparency and accountability. Gram Sabha is very important, particularly in tribal area. The Gram Sabha has absolute power. Nobody can transfer any land without the consent of the Gram Sabha. Very powerful, though I don't know how it is working now. Gram Sabha makes development plans for the panchayats, taking into account the local, natural, human, and cultural resources to meet local needs for food, employment, education, and clean environment. Identifies the beneficiaries of welfare programs such as poverty alleviation, poverty afforestation, etc. Whether Gram Sabha decisions are binding or only advisory depends on the state law as per the Article 243A. Under PESA, what is PESA? Panchayat Extension to Schedule Areas Act. It is applicable to the 5th schedule areas. These areas have preponderance of tribal population. That's where it is applicable. Gram Swaraj, in Gandhi's definition, I am just coming to this. Gandhi's vision of Gram Swaraj, Gram Sabha was central. So you would be wondering, what is Gram Swaraj? Gram Swaraj, Gandhi's definition, what does he say? India will have Gram Swaraj only when a village becomes self-reliant. It means holistic development of a society where every individual are placed in the economic system as equal. Rich and poor have equal power so that their differences reduces. This is Gram Swaraj, and it was Gandhiji's vision. And so I have related Gram Sabha and Gram Swaraj. Now, women in panchayats. Many people say that women in panchayat has a great. No, next one, please. Centrality of no women in. I have already talked about this. Next one, please. Yeah, this is it. Women in panchayat, a silent revolution. Many people think that a silent revolution has occurred by providing more than 1 million women in the panchayats, and in one term. Studies show, what do the studies show? Women in panchayats have generally fulfilled practical needs but not the strategic needs. I don't claim that they have fulfilled the strategic needs. I have defined practical needs, of course, everybody knows, providing almost all the basic services at the doorstep of villagers, irrespective of caste, class, gender, all those. What are the strategic needs? Transforming the patriarchal values of the society to make it more egalitarian and changing the power structure. This is the strategic needs. Despite all the hurdles of a patriarchal and caste-ridden society and the nature of electoral politics and neoliberal economic policies, significant gains have been made in the pursuit of empowerment of women. In spite of all these hurdles, they have gained empowerment. How I will say, what are the assets? Next one, please. No, assets of elected women. Yeah, no, go back. Go back. Yeah. Oh, assets of elected women representatives. Please, next one. Dekho. Yeah, this one. So, what are the assets of women, elected women representatives? They're more educated, more aware than before about their rights. Women's organizations, solidarity network, civil society organization in all the regions now take up women's issues, giving training, organizing Mahila Sabhas. This is important. In addition to Gram Sabha, they also have Mahila Sabhas. It's a unique thing now. And assisting the roles of Gram Sabha. A few examples. Who are these organizations who are helping the women elected representatives? Sakhi in Bihar, Setkari Sangathan and Panchayat Sakhi in Maharashtra, Sutra in Himachal Pradesh, Mahila Chetna Manch in Madhya Pradesh, Lokamitra in Uttar Pradesh, Mahila Adhikar Samiti in Rajasthan, Institute of Social Sciences in New Delhi, and now in Odisha. Government institutions such as Women's Commission and important policies with having women components and reservation or representation in institution, media, and courts. Above all, some laws regarding violence against women have their impact, though limited, on all aspects in society, including local government. It is interesting that the court, it is said that a man sees with one eye, but a woman sees with both the eyes. I mean, they are more holistic. Recalling now comes to that. Recalling, right. Recalling successful women sarpanchas. Some all women panchayats, that was first in Maharashtra. Because of Setkari Sangathan initiative in the first term, they were very active, provided safe drinking water, monitored distribution of ration under PDS, attending panchayat meeting by themselves, conducting proceedings, even resolving family marital conflicts in village, stopping drinking of liquor, promoting attendance of girl children in school. Studies have documented such achievements in indicating various possibilities. Such examples galore all over India. The frontline role of panchayat women leaders during COVID was the high point of their capacities. There was a book, which included the activities of all women panchayat by Bisakha Datta, who will make chapati. I think you must read that if you are interested in knowing more about the activities of women elected representatives. So now 31 years of experience, promises and constraint. Next, please. Right. Actually, it is 31, not 30. Now, what has happened in the society? Let's see. Centralization of political process, state power, and political parties more centralized day by day. Local government became powerless agencies implementing policies from above. Rise of money power and muscle power. Sorry. In electoral politics, making autonomy of local institutions as superfluous. Global market economy overwhelms the village. Big projects from above absorb local resources, mass circulation of commodities, make local products irrelevant, encompassing all organizations, including self-help groups, making traditional artisans, men and women, irrelevant. Sorry. Profit pushes social justice to the background. Gender becomes a matter of slogan and demonstrative programs, rather of substantive power. Patriarchy prevails through economy and politics. Technology, sorry, as an instrument of the entire process of management in digital age. The centralizing forces are using tools of technology to robotize panchayats into implementing programs designed from above. In other words, the transferring of money has been digitalized so that the serpent doesn't have any power. Sorry. What are the challenges? Next one. Right. Even now, the women are subjected to triple burdens. Looking after the elderly and children as care workers, household activities as homemakers, and earn an income for the household demonstrated during COVID when men returned from the city due to lockdown. Same earlier due to demonetization. But the three burdens still continue. The proxy women phenomenon has not disappeared because of the new constraints, while old tendencies of male domination persist. Many male panchayat leaders and bureaucrats regaled in pointing this out. The proxy phenomenon, about the proxy phenomenon, panchayat women have been subjected to mental, physical, psychological violence in many places, especially some Dalit or tribal women leaders. In some cases, Dalit women leaders have been killed while doing their work to bring water pipe to their colonies. It happened in Tamil Nadu. So we come to the concluding remarks. Some symbols of empowered women today, I would say the President of Draupadi Murmu and MPs of Sulata Deo, Jyotimani Devi, Fulmani Devi, who have come from, Murmu has come from Nagar Panchayat, and she became the governor, and now she has become the president. Similarly, Sulata Deo, Jyotimani Devi, all of them have come from Panchayat to Parliament, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Going from symbols to substance to achieve transformation of the power structure at all levels in the society is the task for everybody. Are they symbols or independent, they represent changing power structure? Everybody should ask this question. Enactment of much awaited Nari Shakti Adhiniyam raises many hopes. From ensuring basic services to shaping policies in every sphere is the challenge of women representatives keeping the marginalized in focus, not just handing out the freebies such as rupees 21,100 to per women. Now this that Sakhi something they are paying to women now. Oh, self-help groups, but suitable employment and the other long-term measures to ensure living in dignity and clean environment. Women coming from panchayats to parliament can be the models at the agency of transformation. Why? Because these women inherit a shared cultural values and they know the real situation at the grassroots level. I think a young woman leader contributes towards an effective and efficient leadership by bringing different perspective, more human, which is more human, allowing her to take bold decisions because they become the voice of all. Thank you. If you have any questions or doubts, please ask me.
So, thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlightening session. Your comprehensive analysis of women's role in Panchayati Raj institutions have provided us with valuable perspectives on this crucial aspect of governance and gender empowerment. I would now like to invite Professor Vibhuti Patel ji and Professor M. Indira ji to share their reflections and remarks on the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Please.
Thank you, Professor Bidyut Mohanty, for highlighting so many important concerns of women in Panchayati Raj institution. On the 10th anniversary of Women Panchayat Raj Day, it was in like 1,500 elected representatives from urban and rural local self-government bodies who celebrated the 10th anniversary of Women Political Empowerment Day. They had submitted the charter of Charter of Demand, which highlighted some of the most burning issues faced by the women in Panchayati Raj institution. They asked in fact, from 33% to 50%. It did not come suddenly, even for that, they had raised awareness that there has to be 50-50, reservation, or even continuous capacity building, or they had asked for even sensitization of MLAs and MPs and even administration about budgets, funds, functions, implementing machinery. The connect between self-help groups and women elected representatives, and also how the authorities should respond to the collective demands of the proposals of Gram Sabha, and creation of watchdog, creation of a free toll-free helpline, even the reservation for post for Upa Pradhan and Upa Sarpanch. And also they had asked for panchayat secretaries, like adequate number of women panchayat secretaries. And they had also asked for any kind of crisis which the village has, that whether it is a fire or accident or conflict or disaster or deluge, they should have a toll-free helpline. These were the demands. And also, they also asked for the sub-quorum of women in Gram Sabha, no? And representation in all committees, women's representation in all committees of Panchayat,
Yes.
because we also gave a list of some 27 issues which they are supposed to look after. Plus, they asked for women component plan, the
Yeah.
mechanisms for violence against women,
That's true.
even scrapping of two-child norm, which they had asked for, and also special demands for the women-headed household, single women, deserted Dalit tribal women,
Yeah, single
and
women.
enforcement of Equal Remuneration Act. Now, all these 20 demands, out of which how many have been fulfilled after in last 20 years? Because that happened in 2020. We are now in 2025.
Yeah. Actually, okay. So I will remember this, and I also want to know what are the other issues people have or other questions.
Other question is that about, do we have reservation for person with disability and transgender person in the act? Now, that is my one. Secondly, to what extent women are asserting for the gender responsive budgeting in the Panchayati Raj institutions? So these are the three questions.
Yeah, actually, about this, the first one you said, the
Charter of demand.
Charter of demand, whether they've taken it up or have been full. Okay, say in the regime of Modi, I don't think Panchayat has any centrality. I would say, as I have put in the obstacles, everything is getting more centralized. Even transfer earlier, when Manmohan Singh was there, Sarpanch used to disperse MG Narega money. Now they have technology, and they're sending the money through the digitalization of technology. So Panchayat Sarpanch doesn't have any power, but then there are problems. Suppose your fingerprint doesn't match. So
that is a
then,
major problem. Yes,
yeah, you are gone. Now, about the gender budgeting, I don't think at the village level, sarpanchas are aware of it. We have to take up the issue with them.
Because in Maharashtra and Kerala and in Tamil Nadu, these three places consistently the workshops are organized on, and that too in a regional local language, about what can they do with regards to gender responsive budgeting in a very demystified, simple language. And they also submit their demands to the district authority commissioner. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And the third about reservation for transgender persons and person with disability.
I know one transgender person has become mayor, but I don't think they're
not under reservation.
Not for disabled also.
Yeah, understand. Professor Indira, your comments and questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Vibhuti, and also Professor Bidyut Mohanty. And your lecture is really electrifying, and you raised so many issues, and and you gave us a perspective on Panchayat, women in Panchayat Raj institutions. I just want to ask you, because you have been watching women in Panchayat Raj institutions for so many years. Do you think that now there is a qualitative change in the kind of issues that these women have identified? And is there any change? Because is there any improvement since when it started? And in which models it work and where it doesn't work? So, for example, if the education levels are high, or if the panchayat has more elite in the sense like little educated, if such panchayats there is more voice for women, or in very rural, of course, gram panchayats are rural, so very low education levels and poor panchayats, whether there women have more voice. See, what I observe is in Karnataka, so the education levels, of course, to a certain extent, they are important. But what is happening is the awareness levels. It doesn't come with only with your education levels. So what I observed is women are less educated, women are more articulate, and they don't hesitate to put in their argument, whereas it is not happening. So what is your observation, madam?
You know, if you look at the COVID period, it is the, as I said, they worked as frontline workers, you know, and then migrants, when they ran here and there was no transport. So these women, elected women representatives, along with Anganwadi workers, ASA workers, and self-help group, members of self-help groups, all of them took up their issues and set the tents and the shelters of men and women differently, and they provided the sanitary napkin and drinking water and then nutritious food and then employment also. So all this they have done, and they have risked their own life. And so in Uttarakhand, one woman sarpanch, she is a Samiti chairperson. She said, "We will fight with this COVID, and we need over." So in other words, the COVID challenged these women sarpanches, and they took it up and stood fast, and they own over the COVID. They've done a lot of work. I have talked to many people in Odisha and also in Rajasthan, Haryana. I have gone to their villages and talked to them, and that was their confidence. So some qualitative changes have done, but then there are, real constraints which just hold them back. It's a tug of war. Tug of war between the central government and this local power. It's a tug of war. Let us see who wins. And our institute organizes Women's Political Empowerment Day every year on 24th April. We call women elected representatives from all over India. Sometimes about 500 to 1,500 come together to Delhi, and they discuss with experts like Vibhuti. I haven't called you yet. This time maybe I'll call you. So so many people have come. Saida Hamid has come.
Yes, I'll be.
Yeah, and this I'm just forgetting their names, but most of them come and talk to elected women representatives. When they go back, they're so confident.
Yeah.
They go to the school and tell the teacher to teach the children, or they monitor the midday meal to the children, so whether they are getting nutritious food. So all these things that they are doing.
No, and in the newsletter, you people publish the women's statements, no? They are very inspiring. And we use them in our training program, that this is what women have demanded. Even this 20-point charter of demand, that also we have popularized, written about it in local languages, so that our women in Panchayat, they also start thinking in that direction.
Exactly, yeah.
So your newsletter is very, very inspiring. 8-page newsletter, but we get pulse of what is happening at a grassroots level throughout the country, no?
Right.
1 minute. Ma'am, Vibhuti, you also know about the Singama Srinivasan Foundation. There was a study building budgets from below. So during that time, Mysore was one of the sample states. And, this is about urban governance, Mysore Corporation, Mysore City Corporation. So we worked with the elected women representatives. So to my surprise, first time I realized that they go only by political party agenda. So even if the women's issue is discussed, and women are divided based on the political parties, that was really, I didn't know till then that, they raise the hand only if their party raises the hand. So how to
yeah, it is a real constant. It is very prevalent, not only in Karnataka, but also in Kerala.
Yeah.
So yeah, the party, and if the party favors, they will get more money. Yeah, there are problems. In
Mm.
fact,
No, but that
yeah.
but that intervention of gender budgeting, the way Mysore city implemented it, they were able to reduce MMR, no, maternal
Yes.
mortality. UN Women has also prepared a documentary on
Yes.
that case study of
Yes,
Mysore. no?
yes,
Right. Yeah.
And we could sensitize them that how they have to look at the allocations and what they have to demand for. They were given training.
Vibhuti, please. Actually, this women's component more is spent on the infrastructure, not on the welfare of the women.
Mm.
So there is a study showing that very little is used for the women's welfare.
Correct.
And but at the same time, I must say, women, there are many women sarpanches who have done excellent work, I must tell you, including one woman sarpanch. What she has done, she spent her own money, and started. She asked the villagers to desilt the reservoir so that water remains. And then as soon as, so everybody got some wages, and they dig up the pond, and now they have now there is no shortage of water, and they do their cultivation. And so nobody goes out to so this pond, this reservoir, they have kept the fish also. And so what they do, they have taken it lease to the youth. So, and there is a carry wagon which carries the fish to sell outside. Mostly the young men of the village, they take this fish to outside and sell it, and then what they keep some, and some money they also pay to the panchayat.
Correct.
So
Yeah, employment generation also.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
I think Jamila B from Andhra Pradesh, she is executing projects worth crores of rupees, no, because she has a support of the village youth. So I think that also is a very inspiring example of Andhra.
Yes. In Karnataka again, one woman sarpanch was killed. Genuinely, there's a film we have made. ISS has made on her case. So she tried to bring the water pipe to her colony. She's a Dalit woman, sarpanch. So she wanted to get the water pipe to her colony, but when she was sleeping, so the upper caste people, they just took out the pipe, and when she protested, they just hacked her to death. So much violence on this.
So development issue, even you try to bring welfare to the village, you have to face so
Exactly.
much this thing from the vested interest.
So thank you so much, ma'am. And the floor is now open for questions from the audience, and you can raise your hands or type in the Q&A box. So I'd like to go first and raise my question, ma'am. So you talked about the women in the marginalized section, and there was a point that some women pursuing these issues forcefully emerge as the leaders. So, ma'am, could you please explain this phenomena or examples or
Yeah. Actually, what I'm trying to say, that when just let me go to that. One minute, please. This one, you mean to say, what do I mean by that?
No, she wanted to know the processes that in which women, elected women, emerged as a leader. How did
Right.
it happen?
Yes.
Right. Oh, because they, okay, what?
And examples
Yeah,
of such
right,
successful
yeah.
women.
Since they fulfill the basic needs of the villagers, the women, the villagers have confidence in them because they are fulfilling and at that point of time, they think the women have become their leaders. That's what I meant. In fact, it is based on a successful serpent's life history. So I was telling you the name of Chabbi Rakhawat. You know, she's a MA. She has done MA and she has gone to UN also. And she has written her life history. So, and I take her as a model. There are many such models, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, ma'am. So there is a question in the Q&A box by Rashmi ji, and she's asking that what is proxy women phenomena?
yeah, that's very interesting. Proxy woman, you know, and that's the counter thing. They call me member Saab. Okay, the member Saab means in Haryana, one woman ward member. So she was asked, "Who are you?" She said, "I am a member Saab." And that it has, she has gained confidence because she got elected. That is one. Now, what is meant by proxy woman is when woman is elected, but the husband takes charge of you know, all the panchayat activities. That is proxy woman. But there is a survey, all India survey done by Panchayat Raj Ministry, we show the phenomenon of proxy woman has been reduced.
Reduce.
Yeah.
Even the latest UNDP report says 54% of women are taking independent decision.
Yes.
Only 46% are still proxy women.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
now, after 6 rounds of elections, so from 94 till now, so many women have, like, majority of them have started taking
Right.
independent decision. Dr. Kaushika, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Please, you can unmute and ask your question. Kasturi, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Mohanty ma'am, for such a wonderful session. Uh, and more the session was great because there were examples, real-time examples, which made the difference. I have a question, according to me, when I'm hearing the discussion of Vibhuti ma'am, Indira ma'am, and the questions along with the resolutions, is mindset building one of the necessary steps, so that we can move from a symbolic empowerment to something which is a substantial change, instead of just a superficial, a substantial change, ensuring that the women representatives are shaping policy, first of all, understanding the policies, practices, and then shaping it to address the marginalized communities. So here I take into consideration even the child, like the, so that's my question. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Actually, you are right. Mindset of the women themselves as well as of mindset of the society. Only then things will change. Otherwise, you know, will be there. But I am an optimistic woman. I think 21st and 22nd centuries are the centuries of women. That is my feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you people,
Certainly,
young
ma'am.
people, would take it up, those issues, and make a difference to the society.
Certainly, ma'am. Thank you for reinforcing this thought. It makes
Yeah.
a difference, and means a lot. Thank you.
Yes.
No, and I think mindset of man is also changing. I was invited by elected women representatives in Rajasthan. Now you know that Rajasthan allows any woman to get elected only if she's 12th pass.
That's
so
true.
suddenly the character of elected representatives have changed. There are MBA and BA and MA and MCom and IT professionals as panchayat women. Now even the first open free defecation village was also there. So the meeting was in Nimrana, which is an open defecation free, not village, but tehsil. Now in that also I saw that the Pradhan, the Sarpanch who took the lead, she's MA Geography. And as the practice in Haryana, Rajasthan, where you don't sit in when your men are there. And when she had to take charge of the meeting, her husband was there, and she's asked her husband to sit. But husband said, "No, you have earned it through your hard work. I don't deserve it." So it was such a good example for other villages also. A husband saying that no, you have deserved it. It is your hard work which has won you this thing. I am there to back you. So I think this kind of responses are also happening. It is not only women are changing, but even men are also changing, and they are progressive, and they are supporting them in every way. No, like.
And Vibhuti, in that that Rajasthan, that killed Rup Kanwar.
Yeah. No, and she herself said that though I am MA Geography, ma'am, I used to cover my head and I used to have ghungat. It was my husband who says that you can't do governance with ghungat. Please give up. Now you are a leader of the village, and you are leader of now you're a Pradhan, no? So Pradhan is a much more power. So she says that so many things happened because of my supportive husband. So that is also happening in a big way. We have seen, even in Kutch, we have seen it. Women from Jat community, when they get elected, they say that now I am a leader of the village. I will serve you. She told her father-in-law that I'll serve you at home. I'll give you hot chapati the way Gujarati daughter-in-law gives. But when it comes to the panchayat, I will listen to what women in the village tell me. And they did not ostracize her. They also, for them also, it was a learning experience. She said it politely, but she said that now she's accountable to the villagers. No?
And also media is helping now. That film Panchayat, it gives a good message.
Yes.
So Nina Gupta.
Nina Gupta, correct.
Right. So she tries to hoist the flag, but she didn't know. She had to learn, and confidently she sang the national song and hoist the flag. Panchayat film they should see.
Yeah. And even the young IAS officers and all, when you see at a ground level, at a district level, because I know this only because I go to teach gender responsive budgeting in Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, all the regional languages. So I know even the young officers, no, they are also very supportive to women. They don't deride them or laugh at them. They do a lot of hand holding. So that is also a very healthy trend that is emerging.
Thank you. So, Vijay Lakshmi ji, you can go next with the question.
Yeah. Hello, good afternoon. Can I show my video? Because it is not showing here.
Yeah. You switch on your video, no? You can show your video, yes. From your end, you'll have to start. Go ahead, speak, please.
Vijay Lakshmi ji, I shall be able to do now. Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the insightful learning and Panchayati Raj institution. Actually, I was in Rajasthan. So just Vibhuti ma'am told about the women sarpanch story in Rajasthan. So when I see the last 10 years and now, there is a lot of changes. I really gone through this. But in MP, in the context of MP, I just wonder, there are a lot of women sarpanch are working, but the responsibility and the awareness level is very low in terms of health and nutrition. They're only focusing on the infrastructure level, but not on the background health and nutrition status of their community, their panchayat. So though media is nowadays the government also focusing on media and a lot of organization also focusing on media, for engagement of women sarpanch in health and nutrition perspective. But I just want to know how we can improve in the better way from for the better leadership quality under among women sarpanch. And another aspect is there are so many states that are working for women sarpanch are working really, they're really good. So if you have any success stories or any videos, we can documented videos, then we can also show them for better awareness purpose or motivation.
Actually, there are training now, state government is giving training, and also there are civil society organizations like Institute of Social Sciences and other organizations who are giving training to training and handholding of the women sarpanches and ward members, and then in addition to that, the women themselves should know what are the local problems. Only then they can think of, they will ask different people and they will go to different departments and try to improve their panchayats. So it should be, at many levels. First of all, they should get, they should come to know what are, what is possible, what kind of work is possible in their panchayat, right? Depending on the natural resources and how to utilize that, by taking different, by approaching different departments and getting their advice. So they should take money or they can generate the money from the local, local resources by spending some money initially from their own pocket and take the villagers into confidence. I was telling you how this lady Chabi Rawat, what she did, she just used her own money to desilt the reservoir, and then they put that water was used for the irrigation to rear the fish and all that. So there are examples, and also there should be exchange programs. MP sarpanches should come to Kerala, Maharashtra, to Rajasthan, West Bengal, and vice versa. Only then they will come to know, they will learn how other people are doing and what they can do. And also there should be occasional gathering, like, on women's empowerment day, I would say. In fact, the government has taken up our program. Now the government is organizing Women's Political Empowerment Day on April 24th. Why on April 24th? On that day, the 73rd Constitution Amendment Act in 1992 was passed.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Dr. Mahendra Pal, ma'am, please, you can go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. My question is, ma'am, once we pave a road to enter a women into parliament or into Panchayati Raj system, this is okay that at last we have reached onto that platform. But my question is that is there any policy for training also, that how effectively we could do that, that when once they are into the system, that they could be trained that way, that they have to perform, and it should be something mandatory from the government and policy making side, that they should be trained in the way so that they could execute and they could empower themselves, as well as they could just impress upon the things that they just want to. So is there any that sort of platform? Even same topic, I would like to go for the my research also during fellowship program.
Mm-hmm. Actually, to be very frank, I am not aware of it. I should not boast. Maybe
See, the initiatives have been taken only by the organization. In 1994, when the first batch of corporators got elected under reservation, in the municipal corporation meeting, they were only laughed at by men. They said, "Oh, what are you?"
Yeah. You got muted.
You are just not.
Yes.
And it is at that time Youth for Unity and Action, Meera Pimple, he invited women studies scholars like me and Neera Desai to conduct training program for women corporators in Hindi, Marathi, and other. So I think that is what even Mahila Rajasatta Andolan. It is the initiative of the local organization in which women political elected representatives from all political parties they come. Because of the demand of the political women elected representatives in Panchayat, SP Jain had also started a certificate course. SNDT started a distance learning course on governance. So this is because of the popular demand by women elected representatives. But what we need is a massive budget for the capacity building programs, because so many now governance is very complex. So many new laws are there, IT enabled services are there. Each every state has 40, 50 schemes and programs with a budget of crores of rupees. So I think you need a very systematic, the way you have the police academy or IAS officer academy, or you have this thing, forest officers academy or fisheries academy or lawyers academy in law schools you have, where the judges are trained. Similarly, elected representatives also we should have a training.
It is even not for the men also. Basically, it's not that women are not getting that type of training. Even men are not being trained that way. Even
correct.
Right.
But women are interested in learning. That is one thing. The
yes,
mindset is
yes,
very
even
different. They are
yes,
not
even if
interested
they
in corruption and getting money and have a daru
yes,
party and Mumbai party. They actually
yes,
want to learn governance now.
want to learn.
So that quest is there. Yeah.
Some sort of technology could also be taught to them if they are willing. It should be
Yeah.
somehow inculcated in the framework that we must raise questions on these platforms so that we could voice it and we could express it, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aboli-ji, you can please go ahead with the question.
Good afternoon, Professor Vibhuti, Professor Indira, and Professor Mohanty. Thank you for the wonderful session. Apologies, I couldn't attend the first session last week because of some personal commitments. But ma'am, with your permission, I would like to introduce myself first as I'm meeting the cohort for the first time, and then go ahead with my question.
Yes,
Is that
yeah.
fine?
Yes.
Yeah. So my name is Aboli Ingre, and I work with an organization named Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad as a business associate. So RICH is launched. I mean, my organization is launched by Government of Telangana about 5 years ago. And we also work as a Hyderabad Science and Technology Cluster under the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India Cluster Initiative. Um, I work on projects like Women in STEM, AI Research and Collaboration Network, which I can talk about it more when I discuss about my research area. And for today, my question is, ma'am, because I work on this project for Women in STEM, I very closely work with women students from rural and marginalized areas. So one of the problem that generally is observed during our cohort is that the women from rural areas, so before that, there is an initiative which is launched by the government of Telangana as tribal social welfare residential degree colleges. So while interacting with the students from these colleges, so many of the students have said one thing, that just because they do not want it to get married, they are at that institution, at the residential college. So here my question is, with all the success stories from the leaders at panchayats and everything, why do we still see this dearth of opportunities with respect to employment, or may that be awareness about education in the rural sector? So whether is there anything that from our end can be done, or how can we overcome this particular challenge?
That to get employment or what?
Or just to
Getting
generally have a sense of, ma'am, would you want to
No,
add?
you said in STEM. No, I said your focus is basically why women are not coming to STEM. That is
Yeah,
that.
not generally STEM, but education wise, I mean, there is a like very high dropout rates that are seen in these areas when it comes to pursuing further education. I mean, women are mostly oriented towards getting, at least their degree certificates and then getting married. They don't envision, most of the women don't envision to go ahead and study further and then get into employment or get into workforce, something of that sort. So, is there any particular, I want to understand whether from our end can be done, and if at all there is something, what are the certain areas where we can focus on as an organization and individual per se?
So they want to get married and don't pursue.
This is a general and sense of understanding
I
that.
mean, which class you are talking about?
Ma'am, usually undergraduate students, UG.
No. Okay, which caste, which categories of women?
So our interactions are more with SC, ST, OBCs, the lower socioeconomic background category.
I see. Maybe there is, there are employment opportunities are scarce.
Also, where are the centers where they come for learning?
Yes.
So if it is more like in SNDT, we had the same problem. Parents would not send their daughters to stay in a hostel because so the moment we started rural campus, we got the recruitment. Or we started study centers in the tribal area, or which is the lowest literacy district of the state, where the state government says that, okay, you are women's university, you start the campus, no? And they gave us 5 acres of land. And suddenly we had a recruitment, massive recruitment of tribal girls and girls from the religious minorities and all. So I think accessibility and mobility, with the fear after the Nirbhaya tragedy, we know there's tremendous fear among the minds of parents and in-laws to send their daughters where you have to travel long distance. So I think more centers at district places, tehsil places, more working women's hostel in the peri-urban and district places. That would ensure the safety and safe transport. I think that Andhra Pradesh has done, no? For the safe transport, they can stop bus anywhere. Yeah.
Actually, I will tell you a story of a tribal woman. She is a Dongriya Kand, very backward tribal, and she got elected as the first woman sarpanch of that area. What she did first to open a school for the girls. Earlier, there was a belief in their caste, in the tribe, that if you send your girl to the school, your 14th generation people will go to the hell. That was the belief. But she did not care. She didn't trust. She just opened a school and forced the girl children to go to school now. But she herself is illiterate. She had come to our program and, she spoke about that. So there are other examples also.
No, but even in Kalahandi, that 300 girls are staying in a hostel. So it is the teacher of English literature department. She sent the proposal and convinced the elected representatives, and they started, because that is the place was known only for starvation death, no? And I was there for their graduations when the certificates were given of the first batch. I was invited on Sunday. Nice. Yeah, so I think that this kind of initiative, if clustered, because now we have 50% reservation for women in panchayat. So if they collectively come up with this, no, then I think we can have more decentralized center. Instead of expecting everyone to come to cities and metropolis to study, why can't we have a decentralized center? Our university, the moment it started study centers, we start and this distance education program and study centers, which are study centers are in a district tehsil places and the district places, then they are ready to come. Sometimes they are accompanied by their family members, but at least they come. Security is a very important issue currently. Looking at the reports
yeah.
of gender-based violence and kidnapping of girls, and now attacks are more on adolescent girls, no? Because we have become aware, so we will not be trapped. But it is the young girls who are not exposed to outside life. They are the targets of predators. So overall safety is a very, very important concern of parents. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you for answering that.
Thank you. Thank
Jyotika ji, you can go next.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Jyotika. Again, sorry I could not introduce myself on Sunday. So my name is Jyotika. I graduated last year. I'm actually an engineer by academics, and right now I'm working on a social entrepreneurship venture. And I also lead a center in Bangalore. It's a volunteering a center where we teach government school children. We take science tuitions for them. So my question was actually, thank you so much for the session, ma'am, today. It was like really insightful. My question was, I think we've seen a lot of progress when we look at how women are like going from the concept of proxy women, where, you know, their husbands sort of took decisions for them. And now we see with these success stories, we see there's a lot of improvement. So for us to accelerate this process a lot more, apart from like even I think the changing of the mindset is the most important thing. But what do you think is contributing towards that? You know, what's the one factor or what's happening? Is it just time that's changing mindsets, or what do you think is actively happening that people are sort of going ahead? Like even women sort of believing that they can do it, or men not standing in their way. What do you think is changing?
You know, we have organized these exchange programs. For example, Odisha Panchayat women representatives have gone to Kerala. Okay. And the Kerala people have come to this place. So when they see, or we have organized meetings where all the elected women representatives from all states come together and they interact with each other. They also learn from each other's experience. That's how they gain confidence and learn how to do things in their own panchayat. This is our own, living experience. I can tell you. And if you want, I will give you, some literature to go through it. So,
but Professor Mohanty, the women also told, no, when we said we had a group-wise discussion, and all women who were illiterate, who declared themselves as illiterate, were asked to go for a subgroup on gender-based violence, not to come for a planning in India, planning and development. They were so furious. They said, what do you think, that do we need a degree in economics, or we need a higher education to understand planning and development? Day in and day out, we know how the development schemes are implemented in our village. We are the ones who stand in the queue of MG Narega. We are the ones who have an integrated rural development program, and we know the modalities and the corruption and the vested interest and the hurdles that we are facing. How dare you not invite us, and how only people with a degree in economics are in this subgroup? They barged in and they said, now you have organized translation. You people will not be able to, you will not be speaking in English. You'll have to speak in Hindi, no? So I really admire, and it was such a learning and humbling experience for her. This happened in 1990 Calicut conference, where there were 2,200 delegates and 16 subgroups were there. So it was women from the rural and tribal areas. They said, we want to be, this is our life and death issue. We want to be in this thing. Similarly, joint forest management, this thing.
Yeah.
All the engineers and social scientists were talking. And they just told that you sit in the audience. We will sit on podium and tell you what all is happening in the forest, no, in the name of Forest Act. And it was person like Vinati, so they really supported them that yes, you are the ones who have to teach these engineers what is happening in the name of forest laws. No?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Really. I think on the whole, I would say each state has its own problems, I mean, Odisha has a very different problem from that of Bihar or others. And each state has to have unique policies, initiative to solve these problems. So,
now, yeah. Anyone else?
Pulpiti, you can go next.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. I really like the presentation. Thank you, Mohanty ma'am. Mohanty ma'am also mentioned that physical violence against women's representatives is a big threat or a big challenge for women to be in politics, not just at the Panchayati Raj level, but I think at the MLA level, at the MP level. So how do you make political spaces more viable and more safe for women so that more women come to the forefront is my question.
That's true. You see, physical violence, uh, now the women themselves are getting geared to protect themselves, I would say, so that they can work in the public places. So,
I think there is strength in number, no? Generally moving in a group or doing all this, creating your own network and informing each other. And now with the WhatsApp also, they have created some of the safety apps also, no? So inform each other. That's what it is in Bombay, they do that I'm going to municipal office, or I'm going to the hospital, or I'm going to police station. So suddenly others, 5-10 other women will also join her. Or if it is dark, after the dark, they will go in a group. So this kind of collective responses that they are, plus they inform their family that if we are in danger, we would immediately, like that's what happened in Kalyan when I had gone. These women, there was a tussle between the two groups, no? And the women were caught in that. And these were the first time elected representatives. So they had already informed their friends and people whom they trust that something may happen, no? And so that they should immediately contact the police and the media about what is happening.
Actually, I was working in Gadchiroli, and one ward member said that earlier I didn't want to go to Gram Sabha because there were elders, whom I respect. So what the self-help group member did, they came together and took the ward member to the Gram Sabha, and all of them sat together and raised the issues of, regarding their own issues, and it could be included in the agenda of the Gram Sabha. So this is what this women's collective together, it's very much needed, and it is helping, it is working in many states. So
Professor Indira, can you inform us about the Samakya experiment, which was one of the most successful
Mahila
experiments?
Samakya.
Mahila Samakya, lot of action research and participatory action research.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Professor Indira, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Mahila Samakya really made a real impact in Karnataka. And, Mahila Samakya, indirectly, it helped in promoting more girls into education. So through education, actually, Mahila Samakya has motivated the women to participate in the elections. And we, with Rameswari Verma, we did some study evaluating the Mahila Samakya interventions. So, and wherever the Mahila Samakya interventions are there, there is a more representation of women in Panchayat Raj institutions. So, right now I'm not able to give specific examples, but it is a really good intervention. And we also made a study in understanding the villages where there are interventions, where there are no interventions. There are clear indications that Mahila Samakya made a positive impact. So not only Mahila Samakya, several voluntary organizations in Karnataka. So they are all also actively involved in organizing training programs for elected women representatives. So that gave a kind of lot of confidence for these women to participate, and implementation of programs is much, much better in these villages where the women actually participated in these programs by themselves. See, actually, we also conducted one study where we tried to use the capability approach to understand how far women are capable of understanding the Panchayat Raj institutions and participate in the elections. So what we observed is that, yes, there are some women who are motivated by the interventions of voluntary organizations, but at the same time, there are also women who are capable. They claim that they are capable, or they tell that they are capable, but they are not participating. In the sense, they are not able to exercise their agency. That is mainly because of some logistical reasons. See, for example, like the timings are not women friendly. They are not able to attend the meetings, or they are not able to go to the place because of the logistic problems. So these are, some of these support services. If they are given, yes, now what we observe is women are certainly, many women are certainly capable of understanding what is local governance. So many women know that there is panchayat existing and they have a role to play. And many of the welfare programs, selection of beneficiaries, they're actually taking part in this beneficiary selection. But we still need some more time, because I'm very, very sure that we gave a very long way. Certainly, it made an impact on the rural governance. So, and when new generation, like more and more educated girls. So now in our higher education institutions, what I observed is more than 60% are girls. Not because of reservation, but because they are ranking well in their gradation. So they are coming into the higher education. So when this generation takes participate actively in the rural governance and panchayat raj issues, certainly it makes a lot of difference. Thanks, Vibhuti. Yeah.
But Professor Indira, wherever the timings of meetings are kept late in the evening, women have also started organizing parallel meetings.
Yes.
Because and they ask whether because now when you have 50% women representatives in panchayat, they can say we have 50%. We will have our meeting during, and they ask what is the most suitable time. We saw this happen even in the European Parliament when European Union was formed and 40% reservation. All the meetings they used to keep at 6 o'clock in the pub. Can you imagine? While drinking beer, they were this women, they put their foot down, including Tony Blair's wife, Prime Minister's wife also said, I will not attend any meeting beyond 9 to 5 because I have children to look after. I have elderly people to look after. I believe in 8 hours of work for my people who are helping me in my care work. And they all would take their briefcase and leave. So I think if you have to just show guts that we are capable of going ahead without you. So I think that, and that happened in a trade union in a big way. Earlier, even union meetings to take place at 6 and 7. Women stopped giving subscription. They said, we don't want to be member of the union. We will start our own women's caucus and we will. So this is what happened in the organized sector, no? And then the trade unionists were humbled and they started keeping a meeting at 4 o'clock or means what they asked people, what is the most suitable time?
Yes.
So I think assertion is also important.
Yes, assertion is very important. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions from the participants?
There is one from Maya P. It is about education happens, awareness doesn't grow. Yeah, that also, main thing is your commitment to the women's issue. I think that is more important. But education always helps in understanding that.
Yeah, you are right. But what kind of education we must know, you remember, Swapna Mukhopadhyay had written about Kerala education, even if they are educated, they are committing suicides. That kind of education we don't need. It is real suitable education, and that depends on the government, what kind of education policy they have done and what kind of books they are circulating too, you know. So that is the thing.
But neoliberalism makes you individualistic, so you don't share and care. So at one level, you have two extremes. Kutumbashri is extremely successful. Women in the poverty groups and marginalized sections, they are thriving because they have a social capital in the name of SHG and Kutumbashri.
Right. Yeah.
But the women from the middle class and upper class, they are collecting degrees, but they are so individualized and they are so lonely that any small little challenge they face, they end up committing suicide. That is also their atomization also creates depression. Social capital. Yeah. Oh my, we had such a lively discussion, Professor Mohanty. Yeah, very good. Yes.
Gitanjali ma'am, do you have a question?
Yeah. I have a question. I have a quick question on entrepreneurship because this government has been really very focused, keen. What we see at the city level, I have absolutely no idea, and that's why I thought of asking professors this question: that what is the state of entrepreneurship capacity building or in the Panchayati Raj level, and is it successful? The implementation is successful because throughout the conversation we have been talking about two important things. One is education and second is revenue generation. So entrepreneurship is a very key component on that understanding level that can connect the two, but implementation level pe kya wo ho raha hai, nahi ho raha hai? Is there any case studies? What are your thoughts on that, or is it just a big jargon out there? That's my question.
Okay. Again, I'll take you to a case study. One woman sarpanch, she saw there are, many unemployment in her panchayat. What she did, she invited her husband and they invested some money and started a leather factory in their panchayat, and many people got employment in that factory. Since it became a success story, the industrial department, Minister of Industrial Department, they gave some money. And again, there is a huge leather factory, and that villagers have got gainful employment and they don't go out to serve anywhere. So there are cases where this, maybe she is a entrepreneur in a small scale. So I can tell you, one such case studies. And I think it is a real case.
But I think so many women have also used Panchayat Fund to generate employment in terms of food processing, canning, fish processing. And the sales of that, they ask the existing infrastructure of the shopkeepers, both of a PDS or ration shops as well as they said this is made by women from the village. So you have to sell it. And the profit that comes, that used for the developmental purpose. We have this example of two women, they are a women-headed house, they are single women, they are widows, in Kolhapur district, where the sugar factory, they have a cooperative sugar factory. And they have a general body meeting, and every general body meeting says that, what do we do with this year's profit? And if women say we want school, or we want Pakka road, or we want water body, the well, or we want Gobar gas plant, all the general body decides what should we do, or should they divide the profit and give it to each member of the cooperative, or it can go plowed back into the village development. No, so these are some of the good practices that we have come across.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
Even in Kutch and all, where they do good embroidery, the Panchayat elected members help them find the market. They connect them with the market, so that these women, who are, some of them are home-based workers because of the Parda system, many of them, if those who are not allowed to go out and market it directly, they even channelize. They have even contacted the diamond lobby called Pancharatna in Mumbai to provide the fellowship, so that each the worker, handicraft worker can come to that one particular place where all the tourists come. And they for 7 days cost is sponsored by the Diamond Lobby in the name of CSR. And the women, whatever material they have produced within a year, it can be sold and they can keep the profit. They don't have to pay any. So,
Okay.
and they have
That
an
sounds
organization called Panchayat Mahiti Kendra. It's a district level body called Panchayat Mahiti Kendra. So it is supported by Kutch Mahila Vikas Kendra, Kutch Mahila Vikas Organization.
Gujarat.
And they do the yeah. Huh?
That's
In
in
Kutch,
Gujarat.
Kutch. Bhuj. It is in Bhuj.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Sushma Iyengar. She's the one who started it. Sushma Iyengar. Kutch Mahila Vikas.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for taking the time to answer all the questions in such great detail and with so much patience. So, then moving ahead to the next segment of today's program. This session is a discussion on the title chosen by the fellows. I request Vibhuti ma'am and Mohanty ma'am and Indira ma'am to kindly give our fellows their remarks on the same. And the fellows are requested to kindly accept the join as panelist request, which will allow them to turn on their video and access for audio. And they can kindly raise their hand and we will call out their names.
Who will go first? Those who could not discuss in the last one, I think they can start with them.
Kasturi ma'am, you can go first.
Yeah, I'll just, am I allowed to share the screen?
Yes.
Just give me a moment. I'm sharing my screen. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah, thank you. So the topic which I have taken is unlocking the capabilities, and the focus is on poverty elevation. With regard and to tap poverty elevation, there are three areas which I want to focus on and I want the guidance on. Yeah. So the three areas is education is the first area, second is skill building, and third is entrepreneurship. And the policies which I'll be tapping into for education is the National Education Policy. And I am from a university which is located as Karzat. So there are certain field areas where I can go and I can initiate the field work. So Diksal, Govandi, Kondevade and Salpe is for education. Then Mohili Center and Chinsavali and Beed Badruk is for skill building. And for entrepreneurship, there is Dahiwali Chowk and KMC College Khopoli. So these are the areas where I have some intuition that I might get the field work done with the focus points on the policies. Like for skill building, Skill India Mission is something which I will get my secondary data from. And for the first-hand primary data, I would visit these field areas. And for women entrepreneurship platform, which is associated with the Niti Aayog, I plan to get some success case studies from the areas which I have mentioned here. So that is the entire focus. So there is one research paper also which I'll be using as a base paper. And I'll be searching for more literature once I get the expert's opinion, whether do I get a green signal for this topic. So I'll be tapping into these three focus areas along with secondary data and the primary data from these areas, and the major focus will be capability building. And then for capability building, education comes in. So the input will be education, the process will be capability building, and the output will be entrepreneurship and job opportunities. So all over to you experts. So this is the entire central idea. Yeah. Ma'am, you're on mute, I suppose, Vibhuti ma'am.
College of Social Work Nirmala Niketan and TISS have done researches and field works, and they also have field placement of the student. So from their library, you will get some of the area studies done by them. But other thing that what will be your entry point for primary data? Will you go via district commissioner's office, or do you have any access? Because the four aspects which you try to cover, you will be focusing both on institutions as well as individuals, no?
Yes, ma'am. The focus point which I'm planning is this, the institutions as well as the students, and if I could get some hands-on, data from the parents and the teachers. So that's the thought process.
Yeah, and even the Maharashtra is a good robust system of a block level data gathering. There are 375 blocks in Maharashtra. So they also regularly send data on human development issues to the Mantralaya. So I think even district commissioner's office also, you may be able to get data on education, skill building, and some of the government programs, no? So you have access to district commissioner's office. Do you have access? Or our later will suffice, because IMPRI will give you later also for primary data collection.
Sure, ma'am. That will be of great help. So this topic sounds doable, and I can go ahead with it.
Yeah, because you have also specified how many visits you will have, because time budgeting is very important, because the scope is wide. So you will have to very strictly time, but currently it looks ambitious, but I'm sure because you have already specified, no, 3 half days, 4 half days, 2 half days for each mission. So yeah, that is that.
But which state you are taking, or all over India?
No, Maharashtra, within that
Maharashtra. Okay.
Yes. I'm based at Karjat at present. I'm staying there because I'm working there as a faculty. I'm residential there. So these are the vicinity areas.
Then I think even your extension work, no, NSS and all that also, because of that also, and college teacher, the district authorities will respond positively.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And I'm also connecting this through the SDGs also. So that is one entry point which I might get, because SDG 4, SDG 5, and SDG 1. These 3 SDGs is the plan where I would connect. Yes,
and now localization of SDG is the name of the game. Everyone is talking about localization of SDG. So that will fit into that. And a lot of literature is also generated by UN Women and also UN agencies.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. I can stop the share, right?
Yeah, good, Professor. Professor Indira and Professor Mohanty. Yeah, would you like to say anything about the project?
Madam is talking, or I should? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with that part of India, but it looks like it is doable, because she also has a time budget, as you said, but she should strictly stick to that, and she can take up this project.
And she's a teaching faculty, so she
that's why she has access to. So certainly
students can help.
Yeah, she can prepare a ministry schedule and things.
And
like
local
that.
students can also share contacts and whatever.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
Yeah. Next.
Yes. Surbi ma'am, you can go next.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Surabhi. I primarily specialize in digital politics. So my topic would be framing leadership, a visual analysis of women politicians on Instagram in India's election year in 2024. So basically what I want to study is that how two women politicians portray themselves on Instagram. One that I would be taking would be Mrs. Priti Rani's Instagram account, just the photographs, not the reels, because there are too many reels and, that is more difficult to analyze. And one Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's for the 2024 photos that they have shared. Because when I was going through, there was a very stark difference in both the photographs, just because of the nature of the parties that they represent. So in most photographs, Priyanka Gandhi is showcased as secondary to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, whereas in Smriti Irani's photos, there are more self-portrait photos. There are more photos which showcase, so also they are reinstating certain stereotypes, like they'd be always in a traditional attire. There is either the photographs are done, and another startling fact, one of the very interesting photos was where there is a meeting of India Alliance and there are only two women in the room in Priyanka Gandhi's photo, and Priyanka Gandhi's seat also looks, she's not on the main table. The seat looks like a chair is added for her, and another woman that is there in the photograph who's a woman leader is Supriya Sule, who's sitting in the second rung, even if she was the party head of a big party. NCP is big in Maharashtra. So that is how I want to analyze these photographs, and if possible I would try to take certain comments or qualitative interviews of certain political consultants. I recently met one political consultant who plans all these political campaigns for the political parties, and she's a woman. So I'd like to take, but many of these political campaigners do not come out very easily in public for such interviews. So I'll try those, taking qualitative interviews also along with this. But I want to do a content analysis of the photographs of these two politicians, because their photographs are very starkly different, and how they are framing leadership through their photographs on Instagram.
You are getting everything on a digital media, so it's not going to be very, very time consuming, not much legwork you'll have to do. Why don't you add one more party, Trinamool Congress, which gave 33% reservation, 33% candidature to women candidates, no, at least, because none of the parties do that. They have supported women's reservation, but actual candidature they have not given to women for the Lok Sabha election. No, even those who have worked in their party for 30, 35 years were not given candidature in the name of winnability. Winnability was doubted, and they did not have any power. So why don't you take someone from the third party also, and
Sure,
how they
ma'am.
are
I can
projecting
take
them?
Mahua Mitra if she's available on Instagram. I'll just check and add one more person, or any other first-time MP from TMC, because that will be interesting, because that will come from a regional party as well, a perspective from regional party.
Yeah, Mahua Mitra will be good. She's very vocal and very articulate in the parliament. So
yeah,
I
but
just want
only thing is using the photographs. How can one analyze their feelings or their ideology? I don't understand actually how to go about it. And for taking from the photographs, you saw Priyanka Bhadra, then Smriti Irani, then we are suggesting Mahua Mitra and Sulabha Phule.
Supriya Sule.
Supriya Sule.
Yes.
Maharashtra. Yeah, Maharashtra. So
the ideology would be, for example, you would have more religious photos of Mrs. Smriti Irani visiting a lot more religious places. And in last 1 year, I could find only one photograph of Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. So that showcases that ideological tint towards, religion. There are photographs of when a woman politician, how she's like even during one of the photographs of Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is on dais. Many photographs are on dais when they are in political rallies, but they are only the single woman on the dais. So there was only a single photograph of Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi where she's standing with that Haryana leader Shelja during a Haryana rally. So then I also realized that there are not many women who are in the big leaders, so they are not available also on dais. So because Priyanka Gandhi is one of the leading faces, that is why she's on the dais. So most dais photos that even this is true for Mrs. Priti Irani also, that when you see their photographs on dais, she's the only woman on the dais. But how she's framed is very different from Priyanka Gandhi, would always be standing behind Rahul Gandhi. But when we see Smriti Irani, she's more on the forefront, more getting garlanded. But when Priyanka Gandhi comes, so that also showcases the difference in the party structure, like Congress being a diversity party.
your positioning, no? If you are an elected representative, you always get more weightage and
Yeah.
visibility and acknowledgement than when you are just a political figure, only political figure or elected, successfully elected people with the cabinet rank position. That also, it
Yes,
is
and
not
how
only.
difference was even like Priyanka's, it was the first election, and Smriti it was the second or the third election during the election year. So
Yeah,
that also makes changes.
that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
So,
yes.
but I think you should also read Malvika Karlekar, the way she has interpreted photographs of the colonial times to
Yes.
understand women's progress in status within the family and also their education, right? Another person is Geraldine Forbes. She has
Yes.
done Women in Indian History. That is also construction of history through photographs. So Geraldine Forbes and Malvika Karlekar. This Malvika Karlekar is a trained sociologist, while Geraldine Forbes is an historian. So I think that in terms of theorization, this will help.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just want to ask Surabhi, are you also going to use some of their speeches, if you can analyze, or you want to restrict to only to the photographs? Because Max QDA is one program which many are using for qualitative data analysis. So if you can identify and make some codes, and it gives you some output, like depending on what actually you are trying to do. So are you also going to look into the speeches that they deliver, or
No,
only
because I
photographs?
think since I'm taking 2024 as the year, there'll be a lot of speeches, and it'll be very difficult for me to do a content analysis of matlab, to catering to that large cohort.
You can select a few, not necessarily, and to supplement with your photographs. Otherwise, you focus only on people have done with photography.
No,
Also,
you
people have
said
done.
about the computer, the qualitative research.
Max
IT assist-
QDA is a program which you can use to generate the output from the qualitative data. You generate your codes, and if it is this, I think photographs also it can be done to use Max QDA.
Can you just write this name of that in a chat box?
MX QDA.
Yes, there is Atlas TI that I have used.
Atlas, yeah,
Atlas is also there.
Yeah, Atlas is also there. Yes, I've seen it. Yeah,
But I must say, sorry.
Yeah.
I must say that it's very innovative way of, going doing research. I
Yes.
must say that. Yeah, it is. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in women's studies, there are very few who have done the picture. Radha Kumar did. We were making history. That is Radha Kumar's work on new women's movement in it. That is a pictorial representation of women's movement. And third, Malvika Karlekar and Geraldine Forbes. I know of only these three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am, a small suggestion from our end as well. If they could maybe explore South India and Northeast as well to give a little regional angle as well.
Sure, I will try, but I'm not that aware of the Northeast women politicians. South, I know certain Kanni Mudi and all that, but I'm not very well versed with the Northeast women politicians. So I'll try, but if I find somebody.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, because even Nagaland and Kashmir have not even passed the Panchayati Raj Act. So even they are not there even in Panchayat. So that's true.
I think Manipur.
Manipur. Yeah, but Manipur currently is under strife. So
it's in
not
trouble. Yeah, it's in
conflict
trouble.
because conflict situation.
Yeah.
Women,
Meitei.
anytime there is a conflict, Meitei women, but not in politics currently.
Urviji, you can go next.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. So I basically was very much fascinated by this particular thing that happened in 2021, when there was a meeting that happened between Prime Minister of Finland and Prime Minister of New Zealand. And both of them were female prime ministers at that time, Sanna Marin and Jacinda Ardern. So it was very controversial how their meeting was covered in media. I mean, there was a lot of focus on how the meeting was very empathetic and nurturistic in a certain way. The kind of the adjectives that would never be used when, male leaders are meeting. At the same time, there was also a lot of questions because both of them were young women who were also mothers. So a lot of questions were also asked to them by media about their work-life balance or juggling roles, as political leaders and mothers. Again, the kind of the questions that won't be asked to male leaders who are fathers. Uh, so I was just interested in looking at how women are represented in leadership roles. So I'm just quoting this particular how there was a lot of talk at that time about the biased projection of female political leaders in media, mass media, and how there's a certain kind of framing which basically counters the traditionally masculine traits like toughness or decisiveness when it comes to projecting male leaders. So I wanted to do some kind of studies. I'm still, trying to see how I'm going to undertake this study. But my idea is that I want to explore how women in political leadership roles are portrayed in popular media. So by analyzing, the diversity of these representations, I mean, the terminologies that are being used, what kind of gender stereotypes or norms are being used to perpetuate, these kinds of media representations to assess the potential influence of these portrayals. Because it would be very helpful to understand how public attitudes around female leaders are also mediated through these representations. So my idea is that I'm going to look at the recent publication of headlines for female political leaders and look at the reception of them. So I would be actually more interested in taking a look at contemporary women leaders like Mayawati, Mamta Banerjee, President Draupadi Murmu, Mahua Moitra for that matter, because there was a controversy last year where there were so many headlines that were being published to, project her character in a certain way. So, that is what I'm planning to do, but I'm still trying to look at how I mean, which women leaders should I be focusing on? I mean, I know that I want to focus on women leaders who are currently, uh, elected representatives who have been portrayed. So I can, find some kind of material on them in newspaper, online websites of major publications, and then accordingly take a critical reading of their reception. I would love any kind of because I'm still in the process of outlining this and polishing this topic. I would really love any kind of feedback or any kind of nudge in the right direction. Thank you so much.
So you will be doing content analysis mainly from the way media has portrayed
Yes,
their
ma'am.
persona.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm actually planning to do a kind of, a reception analysis of, these women leaders in primarily mass media. So yes, ma'am.
Very important, because once upon a time, like earlier, when in 1984, where after the this thing, when Sonia Gandhi was elected as an MP, a lot of studies were done by Ritu Menon and others about what was the sympathy factor, that made a person. There was such a strong propaganda against her that she was Italian and she did not understand the pulse of India. Despite that, why the electorate voted for her? So that time, like a lot of such analytical articles came up, both in the media, it's in the newspapers, and some of the researchers had also worked on it. There have been studies on women in political life, at least from the South Asia. Ronak Jahan has done a very exhaustive study of why in South Asia, when you have such a strong patriarchy and such a strong misogyny to the extent that we also kill our daughters, no? The culture of female infanticide, Prat Bazaar. On one hand, you have such a practices which are so derogatory to women, and on the other hand, you have such a powerful women in public life. So how patriarchy in South Asia is different from patriarchy elsewhere, because you could not imagine such women holding such power in the Western country or even in America or Europe at that time. We did not have such example, while you have Madam Bandar Naike and Madam Indira Gandhi, Benazir Bhutto. What was it that clicked? No, and the question of caste system, it was linked to the caste system in South Asia. That caste system is such a layered hierarchy that men from lower caste are used to accepting women from upper caste who are articulate and educated as a symbol of power. So that goes in favor of women. So if you make your personality not as a sexualized personality, but the personality that is a giver of knowledge, giver of welfare, giver of overall social good, then even Indian man would accept you as a leader. So that is the analysis that emerges from, because Bangladesh and Pakistan also have a caste system. And that layered hierarchy is still there, even in there. Nepal also is a very strong caste system. So in South Asia, you get so many women leaders who transcend the general patriarchal control, overall patriarchal control of their sexuality, fertility, labor, and do the social good. Then they are treated as goddesses, because we have highest number of goddesses in South Asia, while none of the other cultures have. Well, Greek was the only culture where they had goddesses, but elsewhere you don't have. Even Mother Mary, she's just a nurturer of a Jesus Christ. No, she's not a political figure. So even in Islam, you had a Fatima, Mehmet Paigambar's wife, who was a good trader, was a good businesswoman. She was not a political figure. While here you have goddesses who also symbolize power. So you can connect it with some of the such researches done in the context of South Asia.
Yeah, I agree with Vibhuti. See, you look at the life history of Indira Gandhi. First, when she became prime minister, the leaders thought that she will be just Katputli, in their hands. But she asserted herself and became a very strong leader. And she kept all the men into bound. Yeah, and she became the master. And so, of course, she had many wrong policies like emergency and all those things. But she can be a role model, I would say, in her own way.
Yeah.
Yes,
They used to
ma'am.
call
Thank
her
you so
Gungi Gudia when she first became prime minister.
Right.
All the newspapers were only joking about her, no? That
That's
she's a
true.
Gungi Gudia. They used to call her a dumb doll.
Right.
And suddenly in 3 or 4 years, the scenario changed, where they all were saying that the only man in Indian parliament was Indira Gandhi. So
That's
it's
true.
complete. Yeah.
Yeah. I really, feel very excited. This young mind is very dynamic. They are thinking very innovative things. Congratulations to IMPRI.
Yeah, they're very,
Yes,
very, very good batch.
nurturing
Such a
such. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Really, next generation is really into the.
Yeah.
Yes, so Khushbu ji, you can go next.
Thank you. I'll just present my screen. If somebody can give me a thumbs up if it's visible or not.
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Thank you. So, the topic I have taken for this dissertation is I would like to do a case study on an ongoing initiative called Tech Shakti, which is a Digital for Dignity initiative for women's aspiration in Eastern Uttar Pradesh. I basically align with the theme for gainful employment, how this initiative and this NGO, Jagriti Udyam Kendra, from where I'm associated with, is creating an impactful thing for the women to transform their traditional businesses into digital, like infusing their existing traditional businesses with digital. Like they can use various means for record keeping, customer records, and other things. So we give them training on Khata Book, MyBill, and other such digital tools and apps, and how they can ease their operations using the digital means rather than going through the traditional methods. Another thing that there are three segments to it. We are also trying to create digital literacy and awareness. At the onset of the project, we saw that largely the women were using their smartphones only for entertainment or calling purposes. Even if they have smartphones, they have ownership of smartphones, but they do not know how to use it in a optimized way to do gainful employment or learn new things out of it. So that is a change that we have created, that we have seen a major shift in their usage from entertainment to learning new skills, upskilling themselves, and using it for economic benefits. And third is we have been researching on 30 digital business models, which could be opted by these women in three districts of Eastern UP: Gorakhpur, Kushinagar, and Devariya. We have trained them on these digital business models, and now, over a period of 4 to 5 months of incubation, collectively 55 women have been able to generate a revenue of approximately 12 lakh rupees. So there is a huge convergence from zero income to 100% raise in their economic gains and economic benefits. So there are women who has not stepped out of their house for 12 years of their marriage. They have never earned anything. They were not into employment. But we are trying to see how the concepts of hidden GDP, their savings, which is not a part of formal economy, and now they're coming into this full-time formal economy, and in tier 2 and tier 3 districts where job opportunities are scarce, how entrepreneurship can be an alternative mean for economic empowerment among women. And in the era of AI, we cannot just restrict ourselves to traditional looms and handicrafts, but we need to infuse digital into it. So how that is going to create an impact. So this is my case study, that how this organization, in collaboration with various other foundations and organizations, is creating that gainful impact in the segment. I'm open for feedback and suggestions and how I can make it a better case study.
So you are also going to show the modalities in which IT-enabled services can reach them. That would be the final goal of it, no? Ultimate goal of this paper.
My ultimate goal is, ma'am, to see that how basically, as we were also talking about the STEM education, in tier 2 and tier 3 districts, the quality of education is not that great, and we cannot really rely on job opportunities solely. So how entrepreneurship could be an alternative means, not running after jobs, but self-employment is a better opportunity for them.
And also generating jobs, no? Instead of
Yeah.
being working for somebody, you also generate work.
And also you can bring in how partnerships with other institutions you're talking about. It can also enhance the outcomes. So
Yeah.
you can bring in that kind of a, that aspect also into this study. As you mentioned, you are also looking at the other institutions.
Yes, ma'am.
Such as
It's an interesting study, yeah.
Which are the other institutions, Professor Indira?
So we have been our first pilot project was with BMGF, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and at the grassroots level, we have collaborated with NRLM, RCT. We have took their data and mobilized women. We have mobilized around 7,000 women through NRLM, RCT, DUDA, and other sources. community engagement. And now in our final incubation phase, we have partnered with Cisco. They have funded the project and we are taking it ahead.
Yes. So these are this
Yes,
NRLM
very good.
actually they
Yeah,
have
in fact,
brought
it
in.
will become.
Yeah. Yeah. It will be interesting to look at how these institutions are partnering. So it will be good. Yeah.
There also they have introduced digitalization. So,
Digital, yeah.
Fine. Very good.
So
In fact, it will be helpful to many other states and
Yeah.
union territories. Yeah, this state.
Yes, as we look forward to replicate this study on a national level, so
Okay.
that is also a purpose that we are trying to make our argument more stronger, that if this works here with certain modifications as per the needs of the geography, this can be replicated at a larger scale, and there we would need a policy kind of a thing
Yes.
where it comes from the top. So it's like a feeder into the system where we can make a gainful impact for the larger audience.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interest. Yeah.
Thank
I was just wondering, is there any
Yeah.
leadership, who is taking initiative to empower these women to take up entrepreneurship training? I mean, because UP is very backward, both not only economically but also socially, and of course women are most oppressed in eastern UP. So how are they doing this entrepreneurship thing using AI and all those things? It is beyond my comprehension. How did they do it?
Yes, ma'am. So, we are a 25-year-old NGO, and in incubation, our first digital project it was Internet Sati, which was with Tata Trust, where we tried to reach 17 million people in UP region. And post that, we understood that was like a landscape survey of the region, what are the needs and what are the requirements, based on which we realized that there is a high need of digitizing the existing traditional businesses, and then there could be some interesting digital business models which can give gig opportunities to women, because there are additional responsibilities of kids, family, and all those things. It is not necessarily uh, uh, feasible for them to step out of their houses and do a 9 to 5 job. So in that case, we can get some gig opportunities for them. Like if a woman is sitting at home utilizing her free time for creating some online digital content and putting it on YouTube or Instagram and having an additional source of income, or doing data annotation job. There are women who have earned approximately around 1 lakh rupees through data annotation jobs.
Okay.
It's for
So they are,
educated women.
yeah. So we even have women who are educated below class 8th. So there is a 57-year-old woman, as I was sharing in the last session also. She runs her own gaming zone and earning approximately 25 to 30K per month. So there are various aspects to it, various stories around it, where we are seeing that education is definitely an important factor, but women who are educated even up to 12th and who do not have enough job opportunities can utilize their free time and economize it using being enrolled in this digital businesses. So our founder has recently become the MP, Member of Parliament of Devaria. He is Shashank Mani Tripathi.
Mhm.
So he is the founder of our organization, but that has been lately, and we have been working before that. So we have 7 centers of excellence, amongst which is one women COE, under which these projects are running.
Women have harvested digital technologies very, very safely, because even when I go to any SHG and in the interior part, when I give them cash, they say GPay nahi hai, so they want me to pay by GPay. So
Yes.
especially the SHGs and microfinance institutions.
But would you say SH members at entrepreneurs?
No, it's not that.
few women are from SHGs also, few women are emerging as entrepreneurs, but not necessarily all SHG members are entrepreneurs, I would say. Like we have cases of 10 women from SHGs who are working in the handicraft segment, making moonj baskets, moonj laundry baskets, and other moonj products, banana fiber products. So there is one leader who is emerging as an entrepreneur, and all other SHG members are there co-workers or helping them in creating this enterprise.
Yeah. So that we have seen even in the tribal districts of
Yeah, right.
Maharashtra, where one woman he wants to run a ice cream parlor, that traditional ice cream, no, that koti se bante hain. And others are, they all have animals, so they give milk, 5 liters, 2 liters, 3 liters. So they are members of the same SHG, but one of them, she says, their village is near the highway. So they said they would have a cold drink shop, no, at the highway, where all the car goers, they stop their car and they have their drink. So that is also like, it is giving livelihood to all of them, but one person has a leadership quality. She is ready to negotiate with the government authorities, the RTOs, and who have a social capital, and also has guts to borrow money, invest in the business.
Yes.
Yes, so Khushbu, Aboli ji, you can go next.
Okay, thank you for that. As during my introduction, I very briefly mentioned about the type of work I do. So, ma'am, as a part of our mandate, we, to work in promotion of science and technology in the country, we have started a program which is into women in STEM in collaboration with Biocon Foundation. So through this program, we support women students coming from rural and semi-urban backgrounds with scholarship, mentorship, and internship support. So the idea of the study emerged from this particular project. So I would like to understand and explore how grassroots advocacy initiatives like what we're doing can can improve the access of STEM education for women in marginalized communities, and then analyze their role in influencing the public policy for a larger scale impact. So I would like to start with identifying the various common challenges while showcasing how community-led initiatives can overcome these issues. By putting any before putting any recommendations or action point, I just wanted to understand what actually the challenges are, and then understand how these initiatives are impacting the lives of the women in these areas, like rural and semi-urban areas. By connecting these, insights, I mean, by connecting these insights, I would like to offer practical recommendations to improve the STEM education opportunities for women, aligning with the sustainable development goals, like Sustainable Development Goal 4, that is quality education, 5, gender equality, and 10, reduce inequalities. So I would be doing so by organizing a roundtable to brainstorm about some of the things that I've already mentioned here right now, by inviting some leaders who are actually working in this space. This would help me to get an understanding of the challenges and the various initiatives that are actually happening in the country. And I also plan on to interview 5 different organizations working in STEM education, just to understand what exactly they're working on. And so this will help me to understand their efforts, and also analyze their impact that they're creating, and explore ways to scale them up. I would also like to understand the policy gaps that are there in the country with respect to STEM education. So based on all the learnings and insight that are gathered during the roundtable discussion, interviews with the organization, and then literature review, I would like to at least put down some models to be integrated into public policies to create a larger impact? I mean, I know this is a big shot, but my plan is to come up with a solution to address the issue.
Good.
I would like to have your suggestions, feedback,
Yeah,
or
I think it's a very important topic that you have taken, because why women are not going for a STEM subject is a major challenge even our current country is facing. Some of the positive experiences, for example, Stri Mukti Sangatna, when it was faced with this challenge, they invited, started a project called Jigyasa in a municipal school. So GIGASA project, which is focusing on physics, chemistry, botany, and zoology, and the science. So it inculcating interest in science by storytelling, experiential learning, demonstration, and showing the connection between abstract concepts and the reality. So that is a very important work which Srimukti Sangatna has done. They have been doing this for now. This is the 30th year of their this thing anniversary. A lot of functions. It was formed 50 years back, but Jigyasa project started 30 years back. And a lot of scientists, and they had a blessing of Jain Nalikar and many renowned scientists, but at the same time, many science teachers also came forward. Second one is the People's Science Movement. We had a Lokavigyan Sangatna. So Lokavigyan Sangatna also, it is a popularizing science, and that fear of science that community has, that has to go. And for that also, they demystify practical relevance of all these theories and whatever the scientific knowledge that you have. And third one, which Dr. Jayant Nardikar started, called Prakriti. So it was only for the tribal children, because most of the students from tribal communities, they drop out after 7th standard. They can't cope up with English, maths, and science. So through this project, it's more of a bridge course, and also helps them shade their with, but at least mathematics and science subject, which is called Prakriti. And they also generate, once they know this scientific methods and technologies and all, they also generate products which are important in harvesting the scientific technology in a very easier way, and they also sell it. So appropriate technology for the farmers, appropriate technology for and affordable technologies for homemakers, then safety of the environment, the question of purification of your environment and WASH project. So students get sense of achievement, and also the organic farming, all those things they are taught. So there are many such examples with the People's Science Movement, PSM. And Ministry of Science and Technology is a mission for empowerment of women in science and technology. So in that mission, the ministry supports such projects where, for example, you are in Himachal Pradesh, where women have to they are in charge of collection of fuel, fodder, water, animal care, and kitchen gardening and field farm work. In a hilly terrain, when they do it, everything they were earlier carrying either on their back or on their head in the mountainous region. So 35-year-old woman would look 65, no? So they age so fast. So they came up with a wheelbarrow, so which could easily be carried, pushed in the hilly region. So that is a kind of project. Other thing is about the women from Nagaland, tribal women. They were told the whole tissue culture. So they were trained in tissue culture, and now they have their income. Similarly, in Sundarbans, women fisher folks, they were given the technology, that they created a technology park, and how to increase the shelf life of fish products or whatever the sea products they have, no? And also the processing units, so that they could sell it. And so that also they were taught. So canning and processing and selling, all that also Ministry of Science and Technology. It is UN
Yes,
Women has also made a film on it. You can watch it. Equal half. The equal. It is by UN Women. How the
okay.
state budget, gender responsive budgeting, is helping women in the most marginalized area to come up with a livelihood and long-lasting, sustainable source of income.
Right. Thank you for your comments, ma'am. I'm sure there are already so many interesting initiatives that are happening in India. But what I've generally noticed is the major, focus is towards giving financial assistance rather than focusing on hands-on learning experience. That's where we always wanted that component to be included in our program. So, unless and until we equip them with the right skills that are required in the industry today, the moment is not going to move forward. So, I just wanted to understand, cumulatively have a understanding of what are the different initiatives that are happening, and based on the learnings about those, build on some actionable strategies that we can have at national level. Thank you.
Very innovative.
Yes, okay. So, Aditi Verma ji, you can go next.
Professor Indira, can you share some of the experiences of Karnataka? Yeah.
But science and technology? But science and technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, science and technology, we have Karnataka State Science and Technology Mission is there. And they also support local initiatives. Just a minute. They also fund small projects for NGOs and to support the science education, and especially in schools, rural schools. Such initiatives are there in Karnataka. Karnataka State Science and Technology Mission is there.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. I'll definitely check on that.
Yeah, you can see their website and also some studies. Maybe I can also pass it on to you. Okay. Yeah.
That will be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, panel, dear participants. I would like to introduce myself first. I am Aditi Varma. I am a student of law at Bennett University, and it was a very interesting session. Before I take on my topic, I would like to seek permission for something. So, since we are at the topic of gender issues, and we see a surge of women participation in education and also employment and politics, I wanted to actually explore transgender community issues on the same grounds. So, if the panel permits, I would like to take the topic forward. Okay, thank you so much.
Definitely.
So I have briefly worked with the National Institute of Social Defense, which falls under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and I was working with the transgender division there. And I learned that despite there being a national act for transgender persons protection, there is still a lack of identity cards. So they are provided with transgender identity cards that helps them achieve the other provisions that are provided. And there's also a difficulty in changing their names or genders on the Aadhaar cards. So they're not able to go for other education or employment and things like that. So we see there is a study by NHRC that shows that about 92% people of the transgender community are not employed in formal jobs. And further, we also find that the census that was last taken, that shows us about 5 lakh people who belong to the transgender community, and which has almost doubled in the coming years. Now, things that I would like to explore in the study, I'm still trying to outline and how I can go about it. There are two things: one, education; two, their involvement in politics. So because they don't have proper identity cards, they're not able to register themselves for voter IDs, and they're not able to participate in voting elections in the first place. Secondly, see employment and education or skill development programs, and there is a lack in either educational institutions that provide for the same, or a lack of awareness. Then when we come talk about the Aadhaar cards or the transgender identity cards, the district officials, the DM offices, they are not cooperating with them for the same. They are either turned away, or the district officials themselves are not aware of such programs being in place so that they can help them register for the cards. I have been in touch with NGOs and CBOs in and around Delhi and Delhi NCR, and in fact, they themselves were not aware that such a thing exists. And this one time, we were visiting Tihar jail, and we wanted an awareness program in the prison to make sure that people are aware that a community like such exists, and if they are brought into the prison for whatsoever reason, they're supposed to be treated differently and with proper dignity. And at the very main gate, the people from the community were not allowed entrance because their Aadhaar cards had a different image, a different name, a different gender identity. So these are the things that I would like to explore through my study. And there are communities called Garima Greh, which are shelter homes for the transgender community, and I would like to interact with people there, understand, one, what are the challenges that they are facing, and then two, how we can help the government officials, the district officials, understand the shortcomings and then make them aware of the same and the legal provisions that are provided. So I would like to get your insight so that I can outline my structure proposal better and work on the research.
Yes. I think shelter is a very important concern so far as transgender people are concerned, because they are abandoned by their own family. So I think you should also focus on Garima Group. What is the quality of services Garima Groups provide? Do they have adequate funding? Is it safe place for them to stay? And why the ad hocism in the government funding also results in Garima Groups functioning, no? So that also should be
and also
included in the question.
Just I was thinking, transgender issues have come up recently. I mean, earlier nobody used to care for them.
Visibility was low.
Yeah.
Only
So it was a very good
after
study.
2019.
Yeah.
Very
So it will be
Visibility.
really good study to find out their life history and how they can ameliorate their own status in the society instead of becoming kind of very apprehensive of their sexual orientation.
I think you can I think you can also focus more on state policy, what state is doing. For example, in Karnataka, we have state policy on transgender persons in 2017. And there are certain provisions which covers health, education, several of the areas. So maybe whatever is your findings, if you can relate it to the state, because state as an institution, it can make a positive impact on their lives. And apart from that, other voluntary organizations, they are also involved. In Karnataka, there are several voluntary organizations in addressing the issues of transgenders. So if you can link it up with the state policy, how it is working or not working, and whatever has been promised. And also if any of the corporate houses under their corporate social responsibility, if they are doing anything in this area,
Godrej, Axis Bank.
because that is also a very important area you need to address. Actually, when we were in Women's Study Center, we regularly used to organize interaction with this transgender. There is one organization called Ashodaya in Mysore, and they are addressing their issues. And we used to involve them, and because people are curious. The moment you see transgender, you will have so many so much of curiosity. So why I organize those things is, so let the people know that they are also like any human beings. And so it was very interesting. And Women's Day also, we gave them platform, and in open meeting, and in that Women's Day celebrations, they openly spoke about the issues that they are facing. So, but now slowly that kind of activity has come down. But I think it is a very interesting topic, an important topic, and link it to the policy, whichever state you are doing, link it to the policy, and then, you can come out with some policy suggestions.
And also the limitations of the existing act 2019 Act, which has been abhorred by the
Yeah.
transgender community because it has no developmental investment. Identification is also they have left to the doctor and district authorities.
Yeah.
Self-identification is not there. And other thing that comparative analysis of the state subnational responsibility. So Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, and this one, Kerala. Kerala has completed even the census. Maharashtra policy has accepted it, but in term at a ground level, not much is happening. So I think that kind of a comparative that can also pressurize other states who have not responded.
Yeah. And
Right.
what can be learned from each state, which is
Yeah.
covered, what are the
Best
areas
practices.
addressed, not addressed. So those things will come out if you make a comparative
All
analysis.
Thank you so much, panel. That was really great, helpful. Thank you so much.
IMPRI had 3 cohorts on beyond gender binary. So you can go through those PDF files also, where they themselves have been articulating their needs and demands and aspirations.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for your insights.
Yes, so Shrija ji, you can go next.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. So for this essay, I would like to explore the topic of navigating the margins, in which I would like to study the intersectional barriers to electoral inclusivity and political empowerment of marginalized women in Indian democracy. I would like to focus on the women sex workers, and I would like to study the area of Shonagachi and Kamatipura for my field study. And I was conducting my fieldwork recently as a part of my dissertation in the Shonagachi region. So during my fieldwork, I noticed that I would like to narrate a story from there. I was interviewing an elderly woman there. She was 65 years old, and she said to me that I came to Shonagachi first when I was just 6 years old. And since then, I have been there and I have been working there. But I don't have any documents. And she started crying while narrating the story. I don't have any documents. I don't know, I don't have the origin proof of who my mother or father is. And now with age, I can't work also properly. And I don't have any children to support me. So basically, she also doesn't have documents, so she doesn't get access to the various government schemes which are there to help the elderly woman. So I felt that this leads to several layers of marginalization based on age, based on occupation, based on gender, and that is so. I wish to study the intersectional barriers, which uh, leads to increasing marginalization or vulnerability of this woman. And I wish to understand the systemic barriers to their participation. And also, I would like to recommend policy recommendations for effective and implementable policy formulations uh, to solve these issues.
It's very important. Comparative analysis of Shonagachi and Kamatipura, I think that would be very, because then we will also know how the state governments are responding and what has been the implementation of PITA and what are the limitations of PITA. No, because it only talks, it is only regulatory law. It doesn't talk about their health needs, their needs of shelter, their future of the children. The children are growing in the very, very violent and insecure environment. What has been the policy? So I think the state policies of different governments, I think they also need critical reflections. And also NGOs, no? Because there are NGOs who focus only on the children of sex workers, their education and shelter, safety.
Yes, ma'am. Means the elderly woman with whom I talked to, she mentioned that I am part of the DMSC NGO, Durbar Mahila Shamanway Committee, but she doesn't have other documents. So they were suggesting a solution that if the government schemes or the voter, they don't have voter ID card because they don't have the formal documents. So if the DMSC ID cards can be used as a relaxed measure or a relaxed requirement as a document of proof that they are the residents of that area, and so that they can get access to the various schemes.
Very realistic, because that's what we had demanded during the pandemic also, no? While giving the food, this thing, you should not demand Aadhaar card. It should be with unconditional. So they are also in a very, very insecure situation. The way you are trafficked, but trafficker doesn't bother about your document. They just kidnap you, So in such circumstances, it is very important. In fact, in Bombay, the organization called Yuva during 80s and 90s was helping the people without documents to help them. And Yuva had a locus standi vis-a-vis the local authorities to get the documentation, because these are the people who were a victim of train accident or who were victim of floods or earthquake, and out of complete distress they had come, or the deluge, the floods which destroyed their all the papers, and they ended up in Bombay slum. And the government had relented, and the organization, they were the witness to these people, that they have lived in that community. So it is possible. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Prof. Indira. Yeah. Prof. Indira, what is your
this Ashwadaya Samiti I was talking about. They also work with sex workers, and they empower them, and they brought them together. They formed into association, and on stage, she introduced herself, name, and I'm a sex worker. So they've instilled so much of confidence in them, and they're doing amazing services. So it is good to record such kind of document such kind of.
But what is, you have a Karnataka?
Yeah, Karnataka.
You also have a state law, no? Karnataka Devdasi Rehabilitation Act. So what are the components of rehabilitation?
No, I'm not very familiar with that. But I would give her the act if I'm guiding her. I would supply.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Srijaji. Dr. Mohinder Palji, can you please go ahead?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, my topic is that assessing the training programs for policymakers in India. And I would like to focus on a case study from Punjab itself. And the imperative of this gender mainstreaming basically in policy making that has gained a significant now tradition also in the recent years. And the thing is that still at grassroots level, there are so many things, and what is implemented, what is there in the framework, whether that is executed or not. I am keen to learn about those fishes where we could work upon, and how it could be brought to the platforms also. So basically the key components which I would like to, that how that effective, what is the effectiveness of those training programs, and how many training programs are there. I would like to visit different state commission departments also. For that I have good relation, as I have been working at college level also, and I am placement officer of my college, so I have good contacts for that also. I have been organizing lectures in my college also, and some women study, gender study departments are also in Punjab University, Chandigarh. I have good relation over there also. So in Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar also, there is a gender study center, and they are just executing, and they are helping out government also in arranging those training programs. So I would like to go into the field work for the same, that some data I will collect there from also, and I will have help of the software also. I will formulate some sort of Google form summary sheet also, so that I could send it to the different officials as well as to the common people also, so that I could work on the data and I could analyze it at the end of the day. So another important thing is that how we could tailor more gender specific training programs programs and how those could be tailored. And another important, that what are the challenges also in implementing those training programs what we have, because it is very easy when we think about that this should be and this ought to be and how it could be, and what are the practical limitations and what could be the challenges in the same. This was my humble project, which I wish to that though there isn't much work in that, I could theorize it with the help of some of the theorists also. I wish to inculcate some of the inputs of Rancière and Agamben also. I just want to give it a literary flavor also, because basically I'm a person from literature background. So next is up to you, whatever you would suggest, I would keen to take up.
I think you should also go through the pioneering work done by Caroline Moser with the Indian IAS officers. All the UPSC, MPSC cadre was trained during 80s and 90s by Caroline Moser, and her book Gender Planning and Policy Making, which has been treated as a Bible by all the developing countries of
Gender
Africa.
planning and policy making.
Policy
Okay,
making by Caroline Carol and she used to come regularly for the training of IAS, IPS, IFS officers in India during 80s and 90s, where the gender sensitization after 1985 became a buzzword for Government of India. So that is one thing. Other thing, that every academy has a curriculum. Police Academy has a curriculum,
Yes,
IAS Academy, and state government administrative staff institutions, each state governments, they also have their curriculum. So I think reflection on the curriculum, what all they have included in terms of gender issues, I think that would, or even the Shastri, the Shastri Institute in Missouri, they also have where the all IAS officers go there, no, probationers, training for the probationers. So I think if you can have access to training modules of all these government agencies, that will also be well. NIRD has a training module. They give a 6 weeks training for the panchayat members, elected representatives. No?
We have SARD here in Mysore.
Yeah. Even Police Academy Hyderabad has a training module. It's all India body. So the cadre probationers from all over, officers from all over India, they go there for training. So that will be. And the state government has its own administrative staff institute. We have a Yashna in Maharashtra.
Definitely, ma'am, I would like to cover as much as I would be able to cover and try to focus on different sociological as well as economical and official groups also, so that maximum ought to be catered.
The other thing is the state policy. More than 10 states have a women's policy. No, more than 10 by now. State policy. So in that also, there is a section called gender sensitization in the mandate of the state policy. So, and that state policy gets revised. That is, in Maharashtra, it gets revised every 4 years. Currently, we have a latest state policy of Maharashtra is in 2024. So that is there. Yeah, it started with 1994. But now I think all certain states have it. Goa has, Gujarat has, Bengal has. I don't know other states, but this many, around 8 to 10 states have it, women's policy. Even Orissa, I don't know. We can ask Professor Mohanty. Orissa has a policy. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. I will take care of all these things. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Sabera ji, you can go next.
Thank you very much. Sorry, something is wrong with my Zoom and I've not been able to raise my hand, and that's why I had put in the request in the chat that for a very long time. So sorry, I'm jumping the queue if some other people think that way.
No.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. And I see that people have done a lot of work and a lot of, about their own topic, but I have a little bit I want to share about what I want to do. So basically the topic that I had chosen is very close to what we have spoken today. Basically, women in local governance, and the thing that I would like to, work with is basically women in the, Gram Panchayat in Maharashtra. I have access to a lot of women because the group which I come from, we work with a lot of women, and we have the Women in Governments group also. And with the history of Koro, we have around 900 women we are in touch with who have worked with Gram Panchayat, currently in Gram Panchayat. So I would like to take, a scope of around 50 women, 50 or 75 women. And the method that I would like to do is, I would like to basically do a research method where I would like to collect data. I will tell you the list of things that I have tentatively thought and the method would be collect data through interviews, survey them, do focus groups. And the things that I could cover is basically, obviously, their education level, the area of work that they have done, the local problem awareness, their own knowledge of their role, whether how savvy they are with technology, any threat that they foresee, support that they get from men, women, and the community in general, any opposition and what kind of opposition that they face, any long-term pending issues that they have not been able to address and they would like to address, and obviously in-depth development work that they have done, relationship with the villages. These are some of the areas. Obviously, ma'am, I would like to hear from you if there's any more areas that I could cover, in this survey. And through this survey, I will do the analysis of this outcome that I get and maybe get more contemporary what is happening at the ground level currently. This is what I plan to do, ma'am, and I would really like to hear from you as to whether this is the right thing to do, and if it is, then how can I still make it more exhaustive?
So I think the socio-economic and caste background, that will be important. And second one, how many of them are women-headed households, no? So deserted, divorced, widows, and unmarried. So because they face more challenges, and at the same time, they don't have much surveillance. They are the ones who take their own decision, no? So that is, so because the Telangana study of women in Telangana movement, women in Tibaga movement, most of them were single women because they did not have control. They could take a leadership role and they could venture out. Other issue that what is the can be there, because the more experienced elected women, they also start aspiring to contest assembly election, or do they aspire to have once we have a women's reservation in the legislative assembly and parliament, will they contest? Do they think that they will be contesting that? No, their practicing. And so that how do they manage panchayat budget? Do they have any say in implementation of panchayat budget, both right from the proposal writing to once the funds arrive, how do they implement them?
Maybe she can also add what are the knowledge levels, how much do they know about the budgets and such kind of things, how much do they
governance
know? Yeah.
Yeah, but even knowing about the government schemes, no, which
Yeah,
are there
schemes,
for rural
welfare
development,
welfare schemes.
different departments
Different
there.
departments.
Yeah.
See, women, what we observed is women don't participate in decision making for two reasons. One is they think that they are not capable, and second thing is they are prevented from. Okay.
Yeah, no knowledge sharing.
No knowledge sharing. So maybe you can also try to understand, like, certain cases they are aware of things, but they are not allowed to participate in, there are no mechanisms. Such kind of barriers will be there. But in certain cases, even if opportunity is given, they think that they are not capable. So maybe certain of these things you can incorporate.
So the mindset
also,
issue, basically.
Yeah. Yes, and also organizations like Koro or Mahila Rajya Satta Andolan or the state initiative of Mavim Tejaswini project. In what way have they facilitated their performance in the public arena, or because unless you do anything for your area development, you won't be respected as the elected member. You have to bring something. What did you bring? School or road or drinking water or gobar gas plant or electrification or ambulance for pregnant women? What have you done as an elected person over 5 years? That is the question now everybody asks. So in what way such organizations have facilitated their capacity and their confidence to get all these schemes which are there in their own village, constituency, wherever they are, whether they are block level or village.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am, for your inputs, and yeah, I will work on those. Thank you.
You will be referring to Karbarin, no? In Marathi, that journal. Karbarin you can download. Karbarin is a Marathi bulletin of women elected representatives brought out by Mahila Raj Satta Andolan.
Okay, sure.
It's in Marathi, but you can get a lot of insights into, because they themselves are speaking, Sarpanch and elected representatives. So a lot of their voices you will be able to.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Sabira ji. Jyotika ji, you can go next.
Good evening, ma'am. So the topic that I have chosen for my research is the intersection of social policies and women's economic empowerment. So right now I have two which I am leaning towards and one more policy I'm considering. The first one would be childcare support, understanding access to childcare and what structures are present that women are able to utilize to empower them to actually go out and gain like gainful employment. The second one is parental leave, both maternity and paternity leaves, and how they sort of impact how women participate in the labor force. But the third one is I am from Bangalore, so I want to also look at the women, the free buses for women, and see how that policy has probably increased female labor force participation in the informal sector or the formal sector too. So I want to mainly focus on two quantitative questions. Basically, is there a measurable difference in job retention among women who have access to such facilities, be it like childcare support, be it parental leave? Is there a difference in how they access this, and what does job retention for them look like? And how does the availability of such facilities sort of affect the employment rates in Bangalore? I'm not too sure of how to gain like a lot of quantitative data. I'm actually from an engineering background, so I don't have a lot of research experience. So I'd love your inputs on that. But another thing I want to focus on is a sort of qualitative research on how do working women sort of perceive the effectiveness of such social policies in empowering them to go out and work, and what role do employers sort of play in complementing social policies? Because even though the Maternity Benefit Act has been passed in Parliament, and Karnataka was one of the first few states to approve it, like they had a creche act where any company with more than 50 employees, you need to have a creche in close proximity. But I don't see it being implemented the way that the policy was, sort of meant to do. So that's something I want to understand, where is the gap right now? Where can employers come in and sort of bridge that gap? And because maternity leaves sort of become a hamper to hire women, do introducing the same amount of paternity leave sort of offset that difference that comes in where employers sort of perceive as a loss when they look to hiring women who are probably married and things like that. So that's my topic right now. I would really love any feedback you would give me on my particular topic.
So I think the concept of family leave, even the Ministry of Women and Child Development accepted. So where it is not only for childcare, but even when your child has an exam, or if there is illness in the family, or any other some very serious requirement, for elderly care and all. So you can have a family leave, which anyone can have it. It's not only woman who has to do it. Even man can, but men don't do it. They don't apply for it. Even you have Maternity Benefit Act allows 2 weeks of leave for men when the wife delivers baby. For wife, it is 6 months. and for men it is 2 weeks, no? At that time.
Yeah.
But how many of them avail? Even if it is there, they don't, because there is so much of anxiety that they will miss the bus. Someone else will take the promotion, or someone, whenever the retrenchment takes place, or if there is a this thing easing out of employee, they would be first listed, no? Because even in the IT profession, a very high level professional also, lot of retrenchment is taking. So that because of the job anxiety. Another major factor is that the differential wages, no? If the women are always getting less salary than men, men will always have a bargaining power. Why do you only give up a job? In any case, whatever you are bringing is only pocket money, or it can hardly sustain the family. So I think we need to have a multi-pronged approach, that there is to be parity in this thing, because right from startup to executive level, there are glass ceiling, glass cliff, glass this thing, no, sticky floor. Women don't get promotion easily. Women don't get higher increments easily, no. So I think those biases of the employers also will have to go. Unless you have the rewards are the same for men and women, women will always be asked to give up job, no? Because in the final analysis, family sees itself as an economic unit. And if women brings less money to home, then they said, better you give up the job, no? Anytime the care work is required.
Yeah. Jyotika, it is an interesting topic, and which is very contemporary, and which needs actually research, and especially you can, because there are 2, 3, 4 issues that you have raised, maybe you can focus on a particular thing and then relate it to the policy. For example, if you focus on public policy, that is government policy, and link it to the utilization or non-utilization, how much it has helped. At the same time, you can also look at the private sector, like corporate sector, they have their own gender policy. It is there on their websites. You can also do some content analysis of that and take 1 or 2 big companies, if you can do. Collect some data, take permissions, and you can do Google, worksheet or something like that you can do. So basically what I'm trying to tell is, you can link it, because these are the supporting services, and many a time girls are not able to take the highly educated girls are also, gender parity in education is not translating into gender parity in employment. That is the real problem. So this is one area where you can understand why it is not happening. So you can relate it to the policy. But you select only either you select a corporate sector or government policy, but you select that the utilization, the users of that particular policy who are benefited out of that policy are likely to be benefited, and get to know from them. And how it needs modification, whether the particular policy is helping or not helping whom, and because in a government policy only in organized sector. Unorganized sector, even organized sector also, there are several issues, but unorganized sector, it doesn't apply. So you think over, Jyotika, and you can also have one-to-one discussion with your guide, this mentor. So then you can crystallize on, you focus either on public policy or public sector policy, or private sector, corporate sector. And then, you can also do at policy level, you can look at only policies and analyze them. And practically, you can also interact with a few of them and, see how they're helping or not helping, what impact they made. Because now time is very limited, so you can focus on a particular thing. Okay.
No, and I think there would be more receptivity, because now all political leaders of certain states are asking women to produce more children. It became because if you don't have any women-friendly policy, because see, all the pro-natalist states, they are giving so many facilities. You see, whole of Europe, East Europe, even Russia. Like if you produce more children, you get more support. Same in France. If women have a third child, they will get more allowances and more leave. While here, you want women to do this national duty of providing future workforce, but you don't. You consider it as an individual problem, not the societal problem. So employers also need to change their mindset, no?
Yes.
About the
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am,
They
would
are
you
not doing an act of charity. First of all, it is a right. It is not a charity. That has to come to this, because even women in organized sector with permanent job, I came across a very articulate English professor teacher, and she wants, her son is in 12th standard. She wanted parental leave. Legally, it is allowed, but the management is not giving her. They said, you are,
That's it. That's it.
she's entitled and she's permanent. She has worked in that college for 16 years. No,
See, these
And
are
still
unwritten
that-
laws. Unwritten laws they work against. Written laws
Yeah.
are different. Unwritten laws are different. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So, but look at the mindset, no?
Yeah.
That because if this child studies and gets good degree, it's the Indian economy which is going to benefit. They would not see it that way. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if I can reach out to you, then I would like to maybe talk more, Indira ma'am, and kind of.
Yeah. And also go through the ILO documents, International Labour
I have a few
Organization.
documents I can share with you.
Yeah, and after the pandemic, it has become such an important concern, no, caring,
Yes.
because the way women have to look after elderly care, then child care, and care of the sick. With so much privatization, women have to, there is so much of home-based care work, and our population pyramid has also become very top-heavy, no? We have more senior citizens than children. Birth rate has gone down, life expectancy has increased. So care is going to be a very important challenge for all countries in the world.
Reproductive responsibilities have increased.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Rashim ji, you can go next.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Actually, my research topic relates to uh, ground realities of teacher education and teacher working in the private educational spaces. Here I want to learn about, or want to see what are the various policies which are on the paper, and what are the actual ground realities, whether they are being practiced or they are not being, and their impact on the quality education parameter of the children.
So how are you going to go about?
Actually, right now I'm working, so I can have the cohort of the teachers that I can do the interviews.
You are teaching in a school?
Yes, ma'am.
College? Okay, then it's easy. Yeah. And then which are the other stakeholders you will be interviewing?
Actually, because it's based on the school teachers, so I'm only concerned about the school teachers. If you will guide me, I can take more, because I'm not sure about how the research goes out.
Which are the aspects you plan to focus on?
Aspects are like, ma'am, they are like the candidate before me have told about the maternity leave. So there was an instance in our school, like there was a male teacher. He wanted his wife has delivered, and he wanted to take the leave, but the school principal or management told him that either you can resign, because we can't give you the paternity leave. This is not in our norms. So these kind of things I want to take in.
So that is one aspect. That is also, then also the extra work which is demanded from teachers, that also you can take.
Actually,
Plus,
more related with the mental health of the school teachers.
correct.
Like,
Yes. Yeah, very important. Stress level has gone very much high, and with
Very
this
up.
whole this teaching of online and offline teaching, that also
Yes,
is
ma'am.
taking, because there are no labor standards.
Sometimes there are instances like second Saturdays are off. Officially, they are off, but we are taking classes. Attendance is not marked, but we are taking the classes. So these are the ground realities which I want to like showcase.
Very important. And even during the pandemic, they had demanded so much of extra work from teachers, which is still now continuing even after the lockdown is over. No? Whole work culture, there's so much of stress level. Is very high among teachers. Yeah, very important. So mental health, then the labor standards, because whatever social security and social protection the working person has to have, that they are all violated. And also when the question of leave, no standardization of casual leave, sick leave,
Yes, ma'am.
privileged leave, and
Actually, we can't say anyone these kind of things to anyone
correct.
because it comes to our job.
Yeah, contract labor and the whole casualization of teaching job, that also you can
Yes,
focus
ma'am.
on.
Contract. Yes, ma'am. I also want to take contract hiring and contract
Yes,
labor.
very good.
Schools also, there are contract teachers and ad hoc
Yeah.
teachers and
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in Maharashtra, we have 4 masters. Management master, which comes then state government, which are permanent. Third one is ad hoc,
ad
means
hoc, yeah.
who get a consolidated money. And fourth is a clock hour basis. You are paid as per the hour. So four types of. So in same college, you would have 4 masters. So different teachers are signing different masters. Yeah.
So, ma'am, how can I go about? Can you like guide me? Because I'm not sure.
First, I think you do the literature review. You have to go, you should go through, this is not a very area which has not been probed. So a lot has been written about it. Even the report of Pratham, report of annual survey, ASER also, annual survey.
ASER surveys.
ASER,
Yes,
annual survey of education, ASER, annual survey of education and research, education research, that is a SR report. And World Bank also has come up with a report on education in India, which is extremely negative, which says that 85% of teachers in government schools, they don't go to school, they only go on a payday. They have a contract labor who run the school. So that is also there. And you can also read the reports by Abhijit Banerjee and Duflo. Their random control trial, which they did of Rajasthan government. They did the study of RCT study by Abhijit Banerjee and Duflo. Some of the study, and you in Karnataka also there is a study, no, of education.
Pratham has done, and ASER reports are there. Pratham reports are also.
ASER reports are national level also.
National level, and Pratham has done here also. Yeah.
State level reports are also there. Comparative analysis.
Yeah. And Ajim Premji also has done some studies.
Yeah, they have done. Yes.
Ajim Premji
University.
Yeah, they have done some studies.
Their working papers are downloadable from their website. The PDFs are there.
Yeah.
You can just download them. Yeah. So once you read all these reports, you will be able to identify the gaps. Which are the gaps in this this thing. Otherwise, you can also get a lot of ideas for your own questionnaire, because you are going to do both survey as well as qualitative, no? Or only qualitative. So survey, if you do,
right now I'm thinking of qualitative because time
then
is
do
less.
So keep an open-ended question, but you will get so many points from other studies. So you can have the case studies, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But see to it that you don't reach, once you reach saturation, you change the type of model. So even when you interview teacher, it would be one young teacher, one would be middle-aged teacher, one would be teacher who is on the verge of retirement, another would be women-headed household. She's the only sole breadwinner of her family. Other one would be woman with 2 children or 3 children, or third person can be teacher who has a lot of responsibilities of looking after elderly. So have a variety in the sample.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So Gitanjali ma'am, you can go next.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Good evening, ma'am.
Good
So
evening.
I'll start by saying that I do not have any deep research background. I work with infertility and IVF digital communities, and so I am confused between 2 topics. So if you could guide me, and I'll require a lot of guidance from you. So one is that Telangana government has recently, 2023, they started a IVF state-run IVF program, and that's one of the, I think, as of now, one state which has accepted that the fertility rate is going down and government has to do. Because I've been working in this sector for last 6-7 years, and I had an initial conversation with the union health minister. He said that, madam, population में कुछ काम कर रहे हो तो बताओ, तो हम help करेंगे, ये infertility अभी हमारा priority नहीं है. So from there to coming to this, so this is very exciting from me from this level, and I wanted to focus my understanding and what are the learnings. Is it only is the policy working what are the challenges, limitations, and can that be replicated to other states? And what is the why are the other states not keen to talk about this? Because total fertility rate is going down only. Even if in UP also, which is highest population, still वो problem है. And अभी आपने भी बोला कि the senior is top heavy. It's becoming top heavy. India is becoming. So what are the challenges for the other states? Challenges in learning. However, मेरा एक personal limitation इसमें ये है कि I am based in Delhi. I have no contacts with the Telangana government or anybody who is running. So if आप लोग का कोई you can help me connections, I can do everything. But वो एक challenge है on a practical level of executing this research. So this is one. The topic what I'm thinking is that state-led infertility intervention, a case study for Telangana's public health policy and implications for broader adoption. Second topic which I was thinking is a little bit easier for me comparatively is breaking the silence, analyzing role of leaders and celebrities in shaping discourse of infertility. So recently past 2 years, mostly after COVID with the digital intervention, we have seen a lot of leaders and celebrities coming up openly and talking about infertility, IVF, surrogacy, like Priyanka Jonas and then Namita Thapar, then Meta's he spoke about miscarriage. So I wanted to understand what was the trigger point that all of a sudden from a very hush thing, a lot of leaders have started talking about it. So what I can essentially do is take 50 narratives such from the digital media and everything, I can collate that. And because I run this community of women, I can do kind of Google, I mean, questionnaire type of thing, survey with them to understand does these things impact on how they are managing their own treatment or journey. Is it good, bad, or confusing? Whatever, what is the impact, real impact? And I can also do focus group discussions on this larger topic. So basically, the output will be to see that whether these leaders' conversations are actually impacting the health seeking behavior of these women, or is it more like because recently a lot of movies are also starting to have subplots of infertility in IVF. So इसका मतलब एक है कि infertility problem है, but वो खुल के भी नहीं आ रहा है. So what is those gaps? Maybe that.
So you will be focusing on women who are taking assisted reproduction and
Yes.
themselves producing babies, not
Yes.
having surrogates, not.
No, ma'am.
No.
Surrogate थोड़ा मुश्किल है capture करना because of the social
बराबर.
stigma. I will focus on infertility and ART treatments, which includes your IUI, IVF, जो भी ART treatments है. So my respondents will be these people who are in the journey or completed the journey recently, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you will also be focusing on the laboratories and technodocs and radiologists and the medical fraternity also, supply side, or only the demand
I can,
side?
of course, I can speak. I have a lot of IVF doctors in my contact. I can speak to them to understand that how patients are coming to them. How has their behavior changed because of all this advocacy? Yes, I can do that.
Yeah, and to them, you will also have to ask that how do they treat surrogates, because they are the ones who are bringing them, no? So for
No, ma'am,
those supplies.
No, I will not be doing surrogacy, ma'am. Surrogacy is complicated. It will be only IVF treatment, infertility treatment.
Achha, so even the questions to the supply side, the lab owners will also be about how do they do what kind of services they provide in terms of assisted reproduction.
Ma'am, surrogacy is little difficult, and for this short time, it's very difficult. I'll try my best to include the surrogacy component, but people are not open to talk about surrogacy, given that recently the new act has come and a lot of things are changing. So ground realities nahi bata rahe. They're not telling.
Barabar. And Sama has done a lot of work. Sama in Delhi. SAMA. Sarojini, Dr. Sarojini is the researcher, and
Okay,
Sama is an organization. Yeah.
ठीक है, ma'am.
Yeah.
Indira, Professor Indira, I think you're on mute. You're saying something. Okay.
Maybe I'm thinking maybe you can get your respondents from the from the IVF centers. I mean, they maintain this secrecy. They don't reveal that very much. But you can just some numbers and then contact them. Probably you can do a small survey from the demand side and both from the supply side, as Vibhuti is mentioning. You should also look at from the supply side. Okay.
Understood.
I have,
Surrogacy
I
side
have,
is.
I have pasted the link of Sama.
Mm.
Sama, women's health in this. So,
Yes, got it.
yeah.
So you are
Yeah.
saying I should go with this one only, not the
Yeah.
Telangana policy. That will be a little complicated.
No,
for me.
Telangana,
Yeah.
actually, I have a candidate, but I don't know whether she can put you to, but your distance is too far and whether they should be responding. You can go ahead with this, but you look at the policy part of it also. Telangana, what they have included, what they have not included. If you are suggesting that kind of an intervention for other states or even Maharashtra, you can also look at keeping that in mind, the policy part, and how it is meeting the requirements and ground realities. So that with modifications, you can look, you can suggest it to the other state, Maharashtra, where you are going to do the survey.
So, ma'am, I'll reach out to you if you could connect me to that person you're saying. Maybe
I will
keep
just
both.
call up and find out, and then I'll get back to you.
No
Okay?
problem, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'll keep that for 1 week. I'll keep both the ideas open, do my
yeah,
basic research and see
the basic
which is
thing
more
is
feasible.
same for both, either you do here or here. But if you can get some sample from the state also, it would
that
be
will be-
interesting. Yeah.
That's exactly the problem which I am thinking how
I
to
will
overcome.
find out and I will let you know.
Distance is not a problem. I can travel and go there, but I need that
No,
network.
you need
contact.
somebody to.
Contact. Yes, yes. Thank you so much for this, ma'am. I'll write to
So
you.
this is the report, Birthing a Market, a study on commercial surrogacy. I have written in the chat box. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
It is also by Sama. So if you go into the publication section of Sama, you will get all the researches over last 8 years.
Okay.
Exhaustive work, all India work, plus their video films also. They have made a documentary film also. I Want to See My Baby Bumps.
Wow.
That is the name of film.
That is the name
feature
I
film.
know, yeah.
Name of I Want to
I
See
don't know
My.
why
In
I
fact,
can't see the chat, ma'am.
Chat box you can't see.
No, I
Birthing
can-
a Market, a study on commercial surrogacy.
Have you just sent it to me? Or everybody?
I have sent it to the chat box. Acha, I would send
Everybody,
it.
chat.
Okay, I'll send it to everybody.
Yeah, this is direct message.
Ajay, it has gone to no problem. I'll check just.
Yeah, no, I'll
You sent to everybody.
Yeah, it is sent to everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Now got it.
Searching market, a study in commercial surrogacy. Yes, there were studies on surrogacy, but this IVF, government supported IVS or private IVS, I think there are no studies. It is still emerging. But
Yes.
surrogacy,
Yeah.
there are studies. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really helpful. Thank you.
Yes, so Mariam ji, you can go next.
Yeah, she has written in the chat box. Baroda. That's my native place. Baroda. Yeah.
Hi,
please
can
go
I
ahead.
just step back in a minute? I'm just handling my toddler. Just give me
Yeah.
a minute, please. Is that okay? Is there anyone else there next? Pizza? Just, yeah. Okay.
Okay, good.
Pizza, just sit here, baby. Yeah. So, ma'am, just quickly, I wanted to share the tentative topic is that I'm engaged with Mavim, basically Mahila Arthik Vikas Mahamandal, with the state of Maharashtra. And I'm a little ambiguous, if I can say, whether this topic is about gender responsive budgeting in the state of Maharashtra. Is that doable, or...
Yeah, because you have so much documentary evidence is available. Right from 2005, Maharashtra has been doing that. Plus all their budgets, gender responsive budget, separate statement is given in Marathi and English. You can just go to the gateway, the government of Maharashtra website, download all the PDF of the budgets 2005 onwards. Plus they also had come out with a booklet called Women Component Mahila Ghatak Yojana in 2005, where each and every scheme under gender budget in the different departments are listed and what is the amount, estimated budget. So all these documentary evidences you will have, plus Yashda also has been doing regular training of on gender budgeting since 2005. So 20 years of literature you will get. So it should not be difficult. For Mavim, it should not be difficult to get this documentation. And plus Karbarin, if you can read Marathi, you can also go through a literature of Mahila Rajasatta Andolan. So you will also get the perspective of the elected representatives, elected women, how do they see gender budgeting. So you will get both the state perspective as well as the perspective of women in Panchayat and how are they using the budget for area development.
Okay. So ma'am, can one of gender budget statements basically they're releasing it 2019 onwards. Can that be one of the tool? I mean, I just wanted to understand how can I go about it. So I've been
Take last
following the
5 years.
GBA
Take last
statements
5
that
years.
were there.
Yeah. So you can take about last 5 years, so 2019 to 2024, and do how the various schemes have come because of the demand from the women, or because of the demand of the electorate, or because of the demand of the women elected representatives, and what are the what kind of changes do you see at a ground level? What way Tejaswini scheme of Mavin, which is
Yeah.
for, because Mavin has so many schemes.
So
For
I'm basically, we
livelihood.
are anchoring, I'm anchoring the Nav Tejaswini scheme. I'm part of that team, basically.
Correct.
That way. Okay. So ma'am, is it possible in the next week if I get in touch with any of you, I mean,
Yeah.
just to have some more clarity and
Yeah, and also
okay.
download the latest policy for women. Women's policy
So maybe
from
that was one of the thing that maybe having some critical inputs on the 2024 women's policy of Maharashtra that way.
That also talks of gender budgeting. Plus, last 5 years, Maharashtra government is giving separate statement on gender budgeting. Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala, and Telangana, and Tamil Nadu, all of them are doing that. So Maharashtra also is one of them.
That's there, but I mean, I'm sure you must be aware. How is it that I mean, there's no disaggregated data. There's lack of disaggregated data, and somehow even at ministry level, I just happened to speak with Ministry of Agriculture, and I mean, just in recent times, in last week, and so they don't have that understanding of having that orientation towards that gender mainstreaming and all of this. So I'm really not even sure whether all of that is included
The
in
main
the
thing is
GBA.
a mixing of 100% allocation to women and 30% allocation to women. All anti-poverty programs, as well as women in the Department of Women and Child Development program, they are clubbed together in the gender budget statement. So
Segregated data are available. Segregated data are available in public domain. Karnataka, it is available.
Yeah, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu also is available.
Yeah, segregated data is,
wherever gender experts are there in the government as consultant, they have been able
data
to
are available.
Yeah, data.
But do you think there will be any possibility of having some primary interactions, or is it okay if we go about secondary data review at this stage? I mean, for this exercise is what I wanted to understand.
Primary interaction would be with the women elected representatives, either urban, corporators, and the rural. And for that, I think you can have entry through Mahila Rajsatta Adalabi, which is constantly organizing training programs and capacity building of elected representatives, or even All India Institute of Local Self-Government. No?
Okay.
They will also be, because they also are doing capacity building on gender budgeting of elected representatives, right from mayors to corporators to village sarpanch. So that
he attend one of their sessions, he will have a focused discussion, and that way it saves time.
And even Yashda's curriculum, Yashda in its syllabus only, gender budgeting is there, because they are training the elected representatives, bureaucrats, at and district commissioners, and also officers in Mantralaya.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, ma'am. Fine. Yeah. Thank you.
So, would any other participants like to proceed and share the topics for the discussion?
Yeah, I like to speak. Good evening, everyone. Thank you
Yeah,
so
good
much for the sessions. And ma'am, the topic that I want to work on is care economy, where we stand today and the journey ahead. So ma'am, basically, my research would be based on the last year's document, which was released by the Government of India, called India's Care Economy, Unlocking Opportunities. So basically, I want to work on what are the states' initiatives that have been taken to enrich the care economy. And this document cites examples from various countries like Sweden, Australia, and Japan, Indonesia. So I want to understand if we have what are our budgetary allocation as compared to them, what can we learn from them, training programs and workshops, and some discussing some debates also like paternity leave, and if there are crèche facilities, so why aren't they given? And it would be an attempt to make a care economy a state-led initiative, because we spend less than 1% of our GDP on care economy, but as you said that it is not charity work, it is a right. So I want to explore some policies and states initiatives comparing with the other countries' examples.
Yeah, I think two more important things which you need to time utilization study, which Government of India released in 2019. So
Okay.
women are, on an average, Indian women are spending 10 times more time is
Yeah.
allocated for care work. So
Right.
that is very important. Plus relationship
ma'am.
between unpaid care work and paid care work. If
Right,
unpaid
ma'am.
care work is devalued, if housewives work is devalued, it is not seen as a work, as work. Even when the paid care work is done, you don't pay them enough. That means domestic workers' salaries are less than the minimum wages of the state, or elderly care work. There is just law of jungle. There is no labor standards, no occupational health and safety, nothing about the quality of care and the rewards for the care. That is also not considered to be an important area, no? So it is very
Okay, ma'am.
important
Yes.
to first of all acknowledge that care work, without care
Right.
work, mainstream economy cannot function. It is resting, mainstream economy is resting on the shoulders of care work. So
Right, ma'am.
acknowledgement and also paid care work also should be rewarded adequately and as per the the market wages, no, which currently is not the same. It is always
Right,
treated
ma'am.
as a,
Right, ma'am.
yeah.
So, ma'am, can I include an aspect of formalizing and institutionalizing care work?
Yes, it's very
Yes,
important.
right.
That is
With
Part
social,
good for the
right,
safety of carer as well as
Yes.
the care work.
caretaker.
Yeah, it's very important to
Caretaker.
Yeah.
institutionalize. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. In Maharashtra, like we have to do police clearance. Before you hire any care worker or domestic worker, you have to report to the nearest police station. That's the only safety net you have, at least for child care and elderly care. The identification, all their Aadhaar card and this thing, and the form has to be filled up, and details of that person has to be given to the local police. That's the only thing, which is the Bombay police has done, because there are so many attacks on senior citizens are killed, and a person with disability are attacked, and children
Right,
are. So that is why it is there. But we don't have a law regarding formalization of care.
Okay, ma'am. So I can look at it from a holistic perspective, including every aspect of it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Even we don't even have Domestic Workers Act. So many African countries have, Singapore has, Hong Kong has, Philippines has, but we don't have even Domestic Workers Act. So many efforts were made. Justice Krishna Iyer conducted the workshop in College of Social Work. We prepared the draft bill. It was presented through judicial route and through legislative route. Nothing happened.
Okay,
Baba
ma'am.
Sahib tried at the time of Constituent Assembly. Baba Sahib was totally isolated. He writes that I very much want standardization for domestic work, but members of Constituent Assembly, 125 members, all of them have army of child workers in their own home working as domestic workers. So they said they would not allow me even to prohibit child labor, and they would also not allow me to have Domestic Workers Act. That's what he wrote, and he said his helplessness as a father of constitution.
Ma'am, I had one doubt. Ma'am, could you please suggest some scholars that I could look for theories or concepts? Like I'm aware of Nancy Folbray and Nell Noddings, but apart from that, what could I read?
About this one, a right-based approach also, about that is written. Then some of the lawyers, the law schools, they have also written about care work and law, Pratiksha Bakshi and all. And Sujata Gotoskar, who has written extensively on this issue in Economic and Political Weekly. And we have Indian Social Studies Trust, ISST.
Yeah.
Delhi.
Time use.
Time use as well as even the labor standards and all that. Even the
Okay.
platform based in the context of gig work also, because care work is now comes under platform based work. So even those reports are there, ISST. On their portal, you can download them. All of them can be. There are infographics as well as comprehensive qualitative studies on care.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much.
And this, Prabha Kotishwaran, she has written, no? From the legal perspective, Prabha Kotishwaran, some of the judgments of the Supreme Court, no, on the care work, especially when the husband says divorce is, and he says, I won't even pay a penny to my, because she's useless now. I have a domestic worker, I have the cleaner, I don't need her services, no? So even the judgments you can go through, judgments of Madras High Court, judgment of, even the speech of Justice Ramana, when he when he retired as a Supreme Court judge, and some of the judgments. There is an analysis of all these judgments on care work by Prabha Kotishwaran in Review of Women's Studies, Economic and Political Weekly. There is also a group on social scientists on care work, which they run and organize study circles and workshops.
Yes, so any other participants would like to go ahead?
Yeah, can I go?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, so hi ma'am. I could not get the chance to introduce myself in last session. My name is Kinkini, and I have recently graduated from an arts background. So gender policy, all of these are very new things to me. But for my research topic, it's still still an idea, and I haven't refined it totally. But I am mostly trying to focus on the popularization of gender discussions among the youth of India, particularly, especially the role of literature and media, digital media, for example, because we know that there are so many web series or social media posts are every day coming in. There are so many gender sensitive literature as well in these days, I would say.
Even blogs are there, blogs.
Yeah. So, and I think all these things have brought about a notable shift in the way young people my age, the youth, is engaging with these kind of issues, such as equality, feminism, or even intersectionality. So, I would like to understand. I would like to have your suggestion on how should I approach it, because I am thinking I can conduct some kind of qualitative interview and survey with my peers and people I can connect with. And apart from that, I was also thinking if there is a possibility to do some content analysis of, media and literature pieces. What do you say?
Yeah, I think there are so many women-centered films and feature films in regional language and also in Hindi. So I think where they talk about the dilemmas and the struggles of the career women, or women who are educated and because of the responsibilities they are home. So I think there are several Malayalam films, if you know the language, or Hindi films you can focus on. So that can be either one topic. And other thing, the aspects which you can highlight would be, first of all, that their educational background, what were they dreaming when they were studying, and what are the conditions in which they are, whether they are homemakers and they have children to look after. What do they think when the children outgrow them? Because after 5 or 7 years, children will not need their mother. So what do they think? Do they have they thought about their future? Plus, are they forgetting whatever they had learned? And how do they think of reskilling themselves? Because world is changing so fast, and 21st century is a knowledge economy. You have to continuously, lifelong learning is the motto of 21st century, anytime, anywhere, anybody. Digital technologies are there. How would they themselves, will keep themselves abreast so that they are ready for job market, if they want, or the career, or self-employment. So I think these are the kind of questions you can come up with. And even when you start your pilot, when you interview 2 or 3 people, from their responses also, you will get many other questions to ask other people. Only thing, you need to have a variety. If it's a qualitative study, you need to have a variety of experiences. Same repeated information coming, that will not. So,
or maybe do you think there is a scope for me to involve people who are beyond the age group of youth, because I can maybe take out the understanding of older people as well, how they perceive the youth maybe, or will that be broad?
You can also do generational analysis, no? Take women in the
Okay.
cohort of 60 plus, 45 plus, 30 plus, and 18 plus, and see
Okay.
how their perceptions change.
Yeah,
No?
that
Because
sense.
there is a very good generational analysis study done by Dr. Beena Majumdar about education of women in India. CWDS has done. How as per the generations, your aspiration, as earlier women would say, if you read the colonial literature, even our university when it was started, why should have women's university? So that you can mentor young girls to be a good homemaker. So we had only one degree called home science in SNDT. Okay, or they can be educated wife is a better companion to her husband. No, that was the kind. If you see Rabindranath Tagore's short stories and all that came after that, it changed. That if there is educated woman, she will be a better mother or better carer, because she can understand what are the health emergencies. She can use her judgment. She will have less number of children, because educated women produce less children. They are more conscious of their own welfare, no, in the future. Third phase came that you would work with inflation is so high, so that we need salary of both the people. But she would be the supplementary earner. Only when there is a crisis in the family, husband's income is not inadequate, she would work. Otherwise, once he rises in the ladder, she will give up her job, no? Because we have enough, kind of a thing. And the fourth, this thing now, if you see, go to college, girls on the day they join college, they said, ma'am, think about, give me some opportunity for earn and learn program. Lectures are only for 4 hours, no remaining hours you would see. So their own realization that economic independence is the minimum necessary condition for a dignified life. I don't want to be in a situation where I have to ask for money from anybody, whether my father or a husband. So I think changing perceptions about economic independence, autonomy, and dignity, that is, I think you can do the generational analysis. It will really add value to the existing body of knowledge. How perceptions are changing. To say, Indira, you can also, your experience in that.
Ma'am, I think you are muted.
Yeah, there is too much of noise outside, that's why I'm muted. So I think she should take up this generation analysis, what you are suggesting. So then, how the interventions are working, not working, and how much can be attributed to outside interventions, how much is to be attributed to the private domain from home. So a lot of things will come up when you take up this generation analysis. So that would be interesting, thinking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And attitude of the elders also. No, there was a time where they would say that mother-in-law doesn't want me to work. My father would never work. Even our family, not a single woman as well. Now you see that so many women, working women, they are saying they have such a supportive parents or supportive parent-in-laws who say that don't worry, you are earning, you are a breadwinner, you are like this thing, and we'll help you with the child care. We will help you with the domestic work. And we have even very, very conventional families in which if a daughter-in-law has a very good job, no, mother-in-law says, no, you are working outside, so I'll work in the home. She would give her like hot breakfast. So things are changing about how you look at earning women. Even if you see the gender equality report, no, even in Africa, young men are saying that we need 2 salaries. I want a working wife. Even if you analyze the engagement column, no, where they are looking out for a bride. There was a time where they wanted a fair-looking, convent-educated, obedient daughter-in-law. Now you see this whole engagement column, matrimonial column, where they want a working woman. Because I used to make this exercise. Every Sunday you get a matrimonial advertisements, no? That page only I would give to my students, and I see what change you are finding in this. So over the period of time, even the marriage market has changed. It is not that they want a dutiful, quiet, obedient, hardworking homemaker only, good-looking, petite home worker. They want a working woman as a part. No, no. So I think there are several ways in which you will be able to get. So that will go in literature review, but your generational analysis will be excellent. Even if you are able to identify 5 case studies of, that means 20 women of 4 different generations, you will be able to do the coding.
Lot of things about gender roles, gender perceptions. Lot of things will come up in this study. Changing gender roles and gender perceptions.
Yeah.
Okay, so ma'am,
can
just for my understanding, apart from the literature review on the entire thing, I can also do the case studies, right?
Yes,
That is
that's
what
right.
you're
Yeah.
saying. So
Yeah.
case
So
studies.
identify a one family in which there are 4 generations: grandmother, mother, this thing, daughter-in-law. Okay, so great grandmother, then grandmother, mother, and a teenage daughter. So all 4 you can see this thing, because so many teenage, like when they say that now you get increasing number of young women, they just don't want to, they want to postpone marriage and they want to study further or go abroad. So many, you must have seen India Today report, the people who have migrated to Western countries legally, I'm sorry, legal migration. They are educated, they are they are getting good salary, but they don't have freedom to pursue their career, and they see that's the only route for them to self-actualization. They have a degree. If I have my PhD, or if I have my MSc, or if I have done MBA, why shouldn't I work? No? So that is the questioning that they are.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So any other participants would like to go ahead?
Completed.
I think it is.
Yeah, we are complete. Yes.
So I would like to express my gratitude to the panel for providing their valuable feedback, insightful suggestions, and thoughtful guidance to the fellows. And I would now like to invite Professor Vibhuti Patel ji to deliver her closing remarks for today's session.
Yeah, I think today we had a very interesting session based on a real life experiences of Professor Bidyut Mohanty, where she talked about gender deficit in democracy, which is the result of number of barriers and restrictions that prevent women from joining the electoral process. When they are in electoral process, also they face so many challenges. And when conditions are made favorable, or more and more women come forward to contest election and win, that we have seen in the Panchayati Raj institution. And this stride of women into the electoral politics and public arena has shown long-term implications for gender relations in society and family. This has enabled women and marginalized sections of society to articulate their interest and speak for their rights. So in this context of gender deficit in democracy, it is important to enhance capacity of women to contest election and also learn the intricacies of governance. I think that also came out very well. It is essential to train women who have been successful in local governance and those who wish to enter state and the national parliament, state legislative bodies and national parliament, so that they can overcome barriers and develop skills to understand the electoral politics and the dynamics of a larger constituency. Because we have 6 rounds of PRI elections. So now many of them are aspiring to go have a leapfrog at a higher level. So existing network needs strengthening to support and help sustain women in politics. And this is also a need to share the best practices and examples with other states at a subnational level, in the union territories, and also in South Asian countries. Not only for democracy in the countries can be strengthened, but it can also reduce the gender deficit in democracy. Without popular mandate, if women are selected at the top position, they have to face a lot of non-cooperation from the administration, also because of the prejudices and misogyny. And she also talked about the money power, muscle power, misogyny, and mafia power, which is used against women. She gave an example, Professor Mohanty gave an example of how a Dalit woman who was trying to get water for the community was murdered by the vested interests. Women in public life need protective shield of popular support and also tremendous goodwill, so that they can execute a development agenda more meaningfully if we don't want to be puppets in the hands of different power blocks, women have to empower themselves with the first-hand experience of operational reality, and women should coordinate, they should consolidate our experiences gained in the training of the continuous training programs that we are organizing. And there are no shortcut to field work. You can't do governance by sitting at home. Efficient handling of crisis situation is very, very important, as we witnessed during the pandemic. And we also need to see ourselves as change agents, not as a beneficiary of the welfare department of government structures and private foundations. Women in public life need to create their own support structures of safe night halts, because so many times women have to, when you are in public life, you have to go on a tour, you have to manage disasters, you have to manage conflict situation. So this kind of a safety nets have to be there. Safe transport, clean toilets are a great demand, because the WASH program also has to be there for them to function efficiently, effectively. And the constant upgradation of skills and knowledge base is a must for each and every woman in the public life, all the decision makers, to survive in a public life for a long term. Ability to handle more than one portfolio, being versatile, is very extremely important in a rapidly changing socio-economic and political environment. And women in public life must give up phobia of modern equipment. So that means you need to understand computers and digital technology, cell phones, advanced IT-enabled services, which reduce human drudgery. So with this, I think these were the learnings of today's session, and I thoroughly enjoyed. And that also shows that all of us are active till the end itself is a proof of success of today's session by Professor Bidyut Mohanty. Professor Indira, Indira, has enriched the discourse a great deal, and I think it's really enjoyable to work with.
Yes, ma'am. Indira ma'am, would you also like to share your remarks?
Yeah. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
Always I am forgetting because there is too much of noise. I am putting it. It's really very, very, very enriching experience listening to Professor Mohanty and also Professor Vibhuti and also the young scholars, and came out with so many new topics, and which are very contemporary, and you could identify the contemporary issues which need actually more. Maybe this study, maybe this is a short study, and but this could be scaled up. And you have touched a very, very important points. It's not like this is how actually research in women's studies has been developing. And I'm very, very happy to be part of this thing. I mean, part of this whole program. And let me see. My interaction will be continuing in coming weeks also, and especially this. What Professor Mohanty has mentioned about the women in Panchayat Raj institutions, they could achieve the practical needs, but still strategic needs remained. So that needs to be addressed, and also in urban governance, and there are several issues that came up. In Karnataka, we have what is called Mahila Snehi Panchayat. There is a concept called Mahila Snehi Panchayat. So these panchayats identify. You can also Google and get to know about it. And they identify women issues and what needs to be addressed at the panchayat level. And maybe I can also give some material to the participants to get to know more about what is this Mahila Snehi Panchayat. So, because all of you have been sitting for so many hours, I'm not taking much more. And anyway, we keep interacting.
And we are part of a WhatsApp group, so whatever queries you have,
through that, I can also share in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, that will be great. Thanks, thanks IMPRI for the opportunity. Thank you.
And thank you, Riya Rawatji, for conducting the whole session so well.
Thank you, ma'am. So
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
So I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Vibhuti Patel ji and Indira ma'am for their closing remarks, which offered profound reflections on today's discussion and underscored the significance of fostering young women leaders in public policy. And this concludes the second day of Young Women Leaders in Public Policy Fellowship. Cohort 2.0. And as we come to the end of the day 2, Young Women Leaders in Public Policy Fellowship Cohort 2.0, an online national winter school program, a 4-month immersive introductory leadership certificate training fellowship program. I, Riya Rawat, researcher at IMPRI, Impact and Policy Research Institute, would like to propose the formal vote of thanks on behalf of IMPRI, Gender Impact Studies Center, New Delhi. We sincerely thank our expert for day 2, Dr. Bidyut Mohanty ji, Professor Vibhuti Patel ji, Professor M. Indira ji, for graciously sharing their valuable time and providing participants with profound insights and knowledge during this online certificate program. And we thank all our participants who have raised pertinent questions and actively participated in today's deliberation. Readings for the sessions have been shared in your email, and a video of the session will also be shared with you for learning. We eagerly await your presence in the upcoming sessions scheduled every Sunday, and for the special session on March 8th, that is the International Women's Day. We are grateful if you are watching us later on YouTube, listening to us on various podcasts, or reading our publications. We hope you continue to join IMPRI's Web Policy Talk and Web Policy Learning programs. Wishing you a very good evening. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.